our focus in the second half is going to be that.
All right, so that's Manny Machado. Talking about the Padres.
Okay, everything's great. Everything's fine. 15-49 is okay. It's great, actually. Losing 6-7. Who cares?
Now it's time for Jon and Jim.
All right, San Diego and Southern California, what's going on? It's hour one of Jon and Jim. The Major League Baseball All-Star Game is here. We will get you ready. Plus, JayDee Luster, San Diego State basketball assistant, stops by at 3:30. Plus, Alan Sliwa, Padres fan, will join us at 5 p.m. We'll talk about the men's basketball Olympic team, plus about the Padres second half with Alan. Jon and Jim with you for the next 3 hours. We have really good giveaways today. We've got your chance to win tickets to see Willie Nelson and Bob Dylan and John Mellencamp. That's coming up this month. And then we have tickets to see Niall Horn as well, coming up later this month as well. So obviously tonight, the same old story. I mean, if you've been a baseball fan, you know that every year the Padres have players in it, and we'll react to that. They've got some really good players in it.
They have a player every year?
But here's what makes this year different. Is you've got this really interesting situation playing out in the National League clubhouse that I think we touched on maybe briefly yesterday, or we've discussed over the last couple of weeks, but we haven't really delved into it. It's that Jurickson Profar and Will Smith are quote-unquote teammates right now, which means Will Smith kind of had to address what he said earlier this year, that Jurickson Profar is irrelevant. So he did this like half-hearted apology because Kevin Acee spoke to him. And here's the quote from Kevin Acee from Will Smith that we can react to. And what do you guys think of this? 877-767-4760, or hit us up on the talkback mic, or 70470, start it with team. Smith, on Profar's accomplishments as a player, that had nothing to do with it, what he said earlier this year. It was the situation only. My bad. It was nothing personal. He's fiery, plays hard. He's a competitor. In competition, the best and worst comes out of us. He's a competitor and a good player. What? Are you apologizing or not? And when you say, by the way, Jim, when he says he's fiery, plays hard, he's a competitor, in competition, the best and worst comes out of us, is he saying that about Profar, that the worst came out of him? Or is he saying it about himself as the competitor, what he said about Profar after the fact about him being irrelevant?
We could read into the apology all day about like what you just talked about right there. But here's the truth. That was a lame ass apology.
I agree.
That was fake as hell. That right there is what we call like, I'm just going to say something to get this over with, but I don't really want to apologize. So I'll go up to the line of apologizing or saying like, man, that was wrong. He's an all-star. He's one of the best players in baseball this season. He's had a fantastic year. Like, I was wrong there. I shouldn't have said a guy who's been in the league for 10 years is irrelevant, and he's kind of shut me up this year. Of course he's not going to say that because he's not going to fold. He is going to go to the line of apologizing and not cross it and give you a fake apology like you heard right there. It's one of those things. If I was Profar, and actually, thankfully, he didn't apologize because we know how Profar has operated this season when it comes to slights. And every time he's been slighted, he goes right out there and performs. You could view this as a slight, or you could view it as something that it is, which is a fake apology. And I think Profar might view it as maybe both if he sees these quotes, or if Will Smith even talks to him at the All-Star game. Like, that's got to be a little awkward for Will Smith walking in that clubhouse. He called him irrelevant. It became a huge thing with the Padres. Everybody addressed it. And there's been like shirts made of Mr. Irrelevant.
Like,
and Jurickson Profar has gone out there and put together an all-star season, and he's starting tonight in the all-star game. I don't know. I'd feel pretty like stupid if that were me, if I called someone irrelevant and like, who's that guy? And then all of a sudden I show up to like an all-star radio convention and that person's there. I'm like, oh,
well,
whoops.
it's very odd. I mean, here's the facts. Jurickson Profar has had a better season than Will Smith. What's also factual is that the Dodgers have had a better season than the Padres. If I'm Will Smith, I would probably want to put this behind me because it's something he's certainly thought about in the weeks and months that have followed this moment. I mean, Profar has put together the best season of his career. And again, it's one of those things that if I'm Will Smith, I probably don't want it hanging over my head. Now, I'm with you. I wasn't expecting some mea culpa. It's the worst moment of my career.
No.
I apologize to all Padres fans in the city. I mean, we're not going to get that.
He's a Dodger at the end of the day.
But at the end, also, like, if I'm going to comment on it, I don't know if I would say what he said, which is basically say nothing. I mean, he truly said nothing. My bad, it wasn't personal. He's fiery, plays hard. He's a competitor. In competition, the best and worst comes out of us. He's a competitor and a good player. I think the more I read it, I think he's doubling down a little bit and saying he's a great player, but he doesn't need to do what he does outside the white lines, because we've heard now multiple teams basically say that. Washington, within the last month, pointed towards Profar. Will Smith earlier this year pointing comments towards Profar. And when I read this from Kevin, this to me, like when I first read it last night and I glanced over it, I'm like, oh, Will Smith is saying, hey, we're Major League Baseball players. It got to me in the moment, and what I said isn't what I meant to say. I read it again. It's like he's saying, hey, we're competitors. And what he did wasn't great, but I understand it because he's a competitor.
I like this comment in the YouTube chat. Nobody cares but the media. That's not true.
Jurickson Profar cares.
Because Jurickson Profar cares.
Thanks, Dodger fan.
Yeah, his teammates care. That's, all that we've been talking about this season is the slights against Jurickson Profar and how he has overcome all those and put together the best season of his career, which has resulted in him being an all-star starter for the National League. This is all about that. Obviously, you're not coming in every single day to the clubhouse probably and talking about, hey, did you hear about this person or this person, this person? But when those things were said, you're damn right everybody cared. Dude, you're damn right everybody talked about it.
This is Jurickson Profar's whole season. Like, tell me you know baseball or don't know baseball without telling me you don't know baseball. Have you watched the Padres or are you a Dodgers fan? For 99 games, Profar has used slights.
Yeah.
He took offense to being pitched up and in before a walk-off double. He took offense to Will Smith. The very next game in Los Angeles, he had the key hits. There's 3 or 4 examples of this.
A walk in front of him for Luis Arraez.
An intentional walk. I mean, Profar, and by the way, I credit him. We had Sean Lewis on the show last week from Las Vegas where he said, if an opportunity presents itself to use something to our advantage, and we're not going to reach to do it, but when there's a bulletin board material moment, you're going to use it to benefit your team. I think the Padres have actually done it marvelously this year, none better than Jurickson Profar. If you think in the clubhouse, I spent a lot of time in minor league baseball.
Wait, what?
I've seen a lot of things truly posted on clubhouse walls that have been written or said, actually posted. The whole bulletin board material thing actually exists in a Major League Baseball clubhouse. If you think the Padres have not referenced what Will Smith said at any point from that moment to today, you're an idiot and you don't know baseball.
Yeah.
I mean, and I'm using obviously the example of the dude from you're an idiot and you don't know baseball, but I'm being honest. This is something that over 162, you need to get up for. This is how guys get quote unquote up for things.
I guarantee you, John, for both of us, if one of our peers or one of someone that works in the same profession as us, right? Like a broadcaster for Fresno State. Okay.
Okay.
The play-by-play man for Fresno State, right? John Schaefer, new play-by-play man for San Jose football, and you see a quote from the Fresno State play-by-play man saying,
he's irrelevant.
Who's John Schaefer? He's irrelevant, or whatever the case may be, taking slights at you.
I would have the best radio call of my life.
But you would look at that and be like, F you, I'm going to prove you wrong. Same thing with me. Like, all people all the time say I'm an idiot. But if someone in this profession that maybe worked in this town or that I knew, right, was like, Jim Russell, guy sucks, he's irrelevant. Oh, would I take that as a massive slight? And every day I would come in here saying, F you, I'm going to try to have the best radio show possible. And that's exactly what has happened here with Jurickson Profar throughout the entire season. Is you hear people talk about you, you're irrelevant. I'm going to walk Luis Arraez in front of you because we think we can get you out instead. I'm going to pitch you up and in. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do that. Like, yeah, of course he's going to use this to his advantage. Why wouldn't you? Everybody would. And if you say you weren't, and if you say that you wouldn't care and this and that, you are lying to yourself. And then you see Will Smith give that quote fake apology.
And it only adds fuel to the fire. By the way, let's just be honest here, baseball fans and listeners. What Will Smith said about Profar earlier this year is completely out of line. Like, you just don't. Vet, yeah. I'm telling you, you just don't do it. Everyone understands that something like that can then be used against you. This is why Bill Belichick doesn't say anything, because he's smart. Because he knows, like the week before, I remember they played the LA Chargers in the postseason. He had like a 5-minute diatribe on Phillip Rivers being the greatest quarterback in football history. You would have thought he was better than Tom Brady. Mm-hmm. And then they go out, New England does, and win 42-7. But Belichick gets last laugh there. Yeah. He didn't say, oh, you know what? He's washed. And you look at his accomplishments, it's really kind of paper thin. And you look at the Chargers organization, you just don't go there. You're playing with fire. Here's the thing. Here's the other thing, Dodgers fans, because I know a number of you are listening. The last time we saw the Dodgers play the Padres in something meaningful, the Padres got the last laugh, not the other way around. We can have the long, how many World Series titles you have? I don't care. The last time we saw the Padres play the Dodgers in something meaningful, we can all agree on this. 2022 postseason, completely fair and square. The mighty Dodgers with their 100-plus wins got beat in 4 games by the Padres. That's fair. It's true. It's legitimate. That's kind of the last laugh. It doesn't end the story. I'm not saying the Dodgers can't beat the Padres or win a World Series. I'm just saying, be careful what you're saying. It's not like the Dodgers have this unbelievable recent history where they're winning World Series after World Series. And don't tell me about 2020 right now.
If you're out there saying, dude, guys, this was months ago. What are we doing?
They're in the same clubhouse tonight.
And this is
his quotes from today or yesterday.
Things like this, they don't go away.
Right.
They don't ever go away unless Will Smith does talk to him in the clubhouse or something that we don't know about.
Maybe.
And says something, and then maybe it does go away. But I would bet you a lot of money that Jurickson Profar still is like going to use that for motivation here and use fuel out the fire.
Yes.
Of course he is. So that quote from Will Smith about Profar being irrelevant, like that will never go away. I'm sorry. You could say it's months ago. It is months ago. It's factual, but you're delusional if you think Profar just all of a sudden, if he's randomly asked about it, will go, wait, what? Huh? Who are you talking about? Like he might come off that way maybe, but I guarantee you get him in a space where he's not in front of the media. He is 100% going to be like, yeah, I know exactly what you're talking about.
What I hope happens to start the second half is that the Padres and the Guardians, it's Cleveland to start, right? The second half. Yeah. I hope the Guardians take offense to something that the Padres do on field. And I hope that there's a moment in there that elicits a response from the Machados or the Profars or the whomevers. The Padres have played their best baseball repeatedly when put in these situations, whether it's against the Dodgers. By the way, not only have the Padres won against the Dodgers the last time was meaningful in 2022, they've also led this season series. I forget what it is right now, but what do they lead it? 6-3 or 5-2? I mean, right now the Padres lead the season series against the Dodgers.
Won every series versus the Dodgers this year.
And maybe?
They split the Korea series, right?
They split the Korea and they won 2 games to 1. Is that right?
Here at Petco and then at Dodger Stadium, right?
So they're 5-3 against the Dodgers with 5 games remaining. They'll play here at Petco later this month. But like, you don't really understand the dynamics of 162 if you don't think that this doesn't play a role. It just does. I mean, we've even referenced now for 3 weeks what Manny Machado said about himself, kind of holding himself publicly accountable and the way he turned his season around, basically from that moment on.
Correct. So it's all about using motivation tactics or slights or whatever the case may be
to your advantage.
Like if everybody just praises you all the time, then you're like, I'm good. Nothing. I don't have to worry about anything.
There's a receiver. There's this Netflix show. We watched the first episode. You saw Receiver. Have you turned this on?
I don't want to watch it, John, because I know the ending.
I haven't seen the ending, but the Niners lose the Super Bowl.
Yeah, that's the ending.
But you know, the Lions receiver.
I taped it.
The Lions receiver, former.
Amon-Ra Brown.
Thank you.
Yeah.
So they asked him on this Netflix special, like, "Hey, do you think about the guys that got drafted before you?" Because he was drafted
all the time.
He
named them all.
Name them, the team that picked them, and their overall selection in order. 16 guys.
Yeah, that's what Brady does all the time.
But what Will Smith said doesn't matter.
Right.
It doesn't matter.
Profar forgot about it.
And guys have tattoos of where they were selected in drafts, but it doesn't matter. They don't use it as slights, right?
No, of course
they don't use it to their advantage.
Remembers these things that people say.
A lot of the people that are saying that, oh, this isn't used for motivation, are the same people that blamed last year on a meme. Okay, so don't be like, oh, well, we put a Clayton Kershaw meme up and now that motivated them and that's why we lost. It's like, no, it can't be both ways.
Well, anyway, in addition to that, you do have Jurickson Profar starting in the All-Star game. Another slight. He's batting ninth. I'm kidding. You have Profar starting. You have Merrill coming off the bench. You have Suarez hopefully pitching in this game. We put out a poll earlier today. It was a very large poll. And the poll said, who are you most excited to see? Is it Profar? Is it Merrill? Or is it Suarez? It was kind of laughable towards Suarez because he had like 1% of the vote.
No one wants to see Robert Suarez.
But it was split between Jackson Merrill and Jurickson Profar, and I understand why, because both are brilliant stories. The Merrill story we've talked about, 21-year-old, one of the youngest players in an All-Star game in the last 40 years. And then Jurickson Profar, who's there with his 6-year-old son, who's returning to the organization that he spent a lot of time with when he was a top prospect in baseball. He's an 11th-year player, essentially, starting in an All-Star game. So is there a place you land there? If you could only see one of them tonight, would it have been Jurickson Profar? Would it be, what's the other guy's name? Jackson Merrill? Or would it be Robert Suarez? What's his name? I forget. Where would you go there?
They have different arguments for both. Like Jurickson Profar, this is something that he's worked his entire career for, and he's been in the big leagues for over a decade, and former top prospect. And the story is just, it's like, how can you not be romantic about baseball type of story? You're a number 1 overall prospect at a time in your career with the Texas Rangers, and your first All-Star game is back in Texas where the Rangers play, and you're starting, by the way. You're starting in left field. I think he got brought up as a shortstop. It'd be crazy if he was a shortstop in All-Star, but still, it doesn't matter. He's starting the game in the place where he came up, like over a decade ago with the Texas Rangers. That story alone right there. And he's seen his kids and his family. Like, that's an amazing story. And then Jackson Merrill, on the flip side, didn't have to wait over a decade to make the All-Star team. Didn't have to go through 3, 4, 5 different organizations. Didn't have to go through getting released or getting DFA'd or traded or having to sign a 1-year, $1 million contract just to try to prove himself. He made the All-Star team right away in his first year. He is viewed as a potential cornerstone of this franchise going forward. And he's, also viewed as one of the best rookies in the last, 2 decades with the Padres because of what he is doing and the accolades he's getting and making the All-Star team. So, like, from those two standpoints, you could pick either or, and there's not a wrong answer. And also with Robert Suarez, his story as well.
He was like the forgotten man.
Is also amazing.
Yeah,
so.
Here's the thing. We always say baseball can be humbling. Look at it from these 2 position players we're talking about. Because from the Profar perspective, you're probably thinking when you're with the Rockies last year and you get released, you're like, my career is completely in jeopardy.
I missed my time to get a big contract.
Yeah, my career's in jeopardy. Forget about the All-Star game. Am I going to ever get a chance to contribute to a major league team again in my career? Will I ever be a regular again? I signed February 24th. With the San Diego Padres on their 4th option. I mean, I'm kidding. I'm not kidding. There's no way he was their 1st, 2nd, or 3rd option. And he spins it into this. So we know it's a humbling sport. From Merrill's perspective, you're on top of the world. You're 21. This is so rare to have this level of success this young in the major leagues. But you know what? It doesn't guarantee you anything beyond it. We all want to see him be a 10-time All-Star. It's absolutely possible. There's other examples of players that have this opportunity and are never the same after it. So it'll be interesting to see what comes of both of them. What's remarkable is that you got these 2 guys on the same team in the same outfield that we couldn't have envisioned on February 23rd of this year.
And you're also forgetting that the entire outfield. I know Tatis is not there, but the entire outfield.
Tatis' story is an easy story to tell. I mean, if you would have told me Tatis wasn't an All-Star, I would have said, man, that's really disappointing. This guy's a star.
He should be an All-Star
every year. They're paying him like that.
Yep.
Profar, $1 million deal. We're like, where's Tommy Pham? Where's Juan Soto?
How much total? And I haven't done the math because I'm not good at math. But if you added up Profar, Merrill, Arise, and Suarez's contracts, like, how much money is that total right there?
Well, they're not paying Arise.
Right.
And Profar's 1 and Merrill 700 because that's the major league minimum. So 1.7 for those 3. Now Arise is making much more than that from Miami. He's making $10 million.
But from the Padres perspective,
yeah,
how much the Padres paying?
And then Suarez is on a good deal. It's not anything
8
crazy,
to 10, right?
Yeah, it's something in that neighborhood per year. I'm looking right now. He is making this year in 2024 10.
Okay, so you got about 12 to 13 million right there, and 4 players combined that are all-stars. That right there is insane. You spent $13 million and you got 4 all-stars.
Yeah, the problem is what you haven't gotten out of Darvish,
that's right.
Musgrove. Tatis is on the IL, but he is an all-star. Machado.
And you're also 50
Bogart.
and 49.
That's the problem.
Yeah. But hey, they're all-stars.
Well, it's tonight, obviously, on Fox, Major League Baseball All-Star Game. Will Jurickson Profar do something special or unique? What about Jackson Merrill, Robert Suarez? It'll be in about 90 minutes from Arlington, Texas.
Okay, so we got the pregame show up here on SportsCenter on ESPN. Those jerseys suck. Oh, my God.
You had a big problem with them when they were unveiled like a month ago. I actually don't have as much of an issue with it now that I'm watching it on TV.
I don't like the hat. The American League jersey's all right.
I mean,
like
we
the
saw it a
National
month
League,
ago.
The font is
what
cool.
it is.
The font is cool. The colors are atrocious. They're awful.
It's never going to
The
piece.
hat colors kind of look like the Padres City Connect, honestly.
Unless they're wearing the team uniforms, no one's going to like it.
Right. So wear the team uniforms.
They're trying to make money.
It's not that hard, Rob Manfred. Stop trying to ruin your sport. You do enough to do that.
They're trying to make money. All right, we'll get back to the All-Star game coming up.
Phil Knight, not Rob Manfred.
We're going to get back to the All-Star game coming up. On the other side, JayDee Luster, San Diego State men's basketball assistant. He will join the show. San Diego State's been practicing for the last 3 weeks here on the Mesa. We'll talk about this upcoming 24-25 version of San Diego State men's basketball. At 5 p.m., Alan Sliwa, the host of Lakers Talk, will get us ready for the U.S. men's Olympic team. And also, he's a Padres fan, so we'll talk to Alan about the Padres and the All-Star game coming up at 5 p.m. But on the other side, JayDee Luster, San Diego State men's basketball assistant. He will join the show right here on Jon and Jim. All right, so sports fans, listen up. We have found paradise. It is Circa Las Vegas. We were there this past week, broadcasting live from Mountain West Football Media Days. It truly is a sports lover's dream. It's got the largest sports book in Las Vegas. It's incredible. You need to see it. It really is jaw-dropping. And Stadium Swim, which has this spectacular rooftop pool, massive outdoor video boards to watch all the games, no matter the sport, open 365 days a year. Here's the other good news. Circa's 21 plus, so there's nothing to worry about other than sports and having a good time. And speaking of which, the biggest pro football contest in Vegas, they are back. Circa Survivor and Circa Million, now up to $16 million in guaranteed prizes. 2 ways to win, no rake. Circa Survivor contestants select one team each week with no point spread. Last the longest to win it all with $10 million guaranteed. In Circa Million, make 5 picks against the spread each week for your share of $6 million guaranteed. Quarterly and full season payouts. You can enter in Nevada, but you can play from anywhere, including here in San Diego. You can visit circasports.com. That's circasports.com for details.
This update's brought to you by Staples Stores. Tonight is the All-Star game in Texas. Jurickson Profar will be starting in left field, batting ninth for the National League. Of course, Jackson Merrill, Robert Suarez are there as well. They'll be playing in tonight's game. Potentially, Luis Ariz is there, but he will not be playing in the game. Corbin Burns starting for the American League against Paul Skeens for the National League. And NFL news of the day, Brandon Ayuk, 49ers wide receiver, has requested a trade from the Niners. With Staples Hot Deals, you'll find super low prices on hundreds of items for back to school, including tech. Right now, get up to $500 of select PCs at Staples. Plus, save even more with the Easy Rewards program. Ends 9/14. For participating stores, visit staples.com/stores/school deals.
All right, we'll get back to the Major League Baseball All-Star game tonight coming up here on Jon and Jim. We've been talking San Diego State men's basketball as well here recently because practice is back underway as they get ready for November and the 24-25 season. It's great to catch up right now with JayDee Luster, San Diego State men's basketball assistant, getting ready for his fourth season. It's hard to believe that. Fourth season on the Mesa. Back with us here on Jon and Jim, San Diego Sports 760. Coach, we always appreciate your time, so thanks for doing it. And secondly, how has the team looked so far? Back on the Mesa over the last couple of weeks, how has practice been going?
John, I want to say first, thank you for having me. I greatly appreciate you and love your show and what you do for our program. So can't thank you enough. I'm extremely excited about our new group. One thing about the group is they're new. We lost 6 of our main rotation guys, and we got a lot of new faces, a lot of young guys, and it's been a new energy in the room as far as on the court. So I'm excited to see these young guys grow and continue to take steps as we get closer and closer to the season.
Who's sticking out to you in practice among the new players that have been brought in here?
To be honest, everybody's had their days. Taj Degerville, the freshman that's coming from Vegas, was really good yesterday. Farrell's had some days where he's been really good. Farrell Compton, who's also going to be a freshman. We got Magoon, who's a redshirt freshman, who's, I think he has a chance to be really good at 7 feet. He could do a lot of different things. His versatility on both ends of the floor is something that you just don't really see. Our transfer, Jared Coleman Jones, today, he had a really good day. He shot the 3-ball well. So I can't just say one guy. I think everybody's kind of had their days where they were really good. And, I think that's the exciting thing about our team is I think we will have depth.
JayDee Luster, San Diego State men's basketball assistant, with us right now on Jon and Jim. So, I know Dutch has talked about this. Like, it's exciting because you really have a whole new group. You have some returnees. But when you have this many new faces, 7, 8, 9 scholarship student athletes, what is the key? Like, to make this thing gel, what are going to be some of the keys? Because you think back to maybe some of the previous iterations of San Diego State, and you've had more returnees. This team has some more newcomers. So what are going to be those keys?
I think the key is, it makes it a lot easier when you have an established program and an established culture. Coach Dutcher has been here for 25 years. Dave Velasquez has been here for 22 years. Matt Surrey has been here for 24 years. So, we have a lot of guys who've been here, who've helped establish this culture and tradition here at San Diego State. So it's just a matter of getting these new guys acclimated to how we do things here, which is, we play hard. We pride ourselves on being the hardest playing team every single night. We pride ourselves on defense. We pride ourselves on rebounding. So those have been the staples, and then just getting these guys up to speed on those 3 things. And then I think you build from there. But our foundation always going to be playing extremely hard, defense, defending, and then rebounding. So those are the things that we've been, harping on right now. And then everything else is kind of icing on the cake as we keep building and the foundation is set.
Rosters always change in college, especially now with the transfer portal even more than ever. But the last couple of years, this Aztecs team has had a core of players that have been here in college terms for a long time. And this year, you have some returning players, but for the most part, it's a pretty new cast of characters. For you as a coach, how exciting is it to be able to have a new group of players and to be able to coach them and see what they can do going forward?
I think when you have, over the past few years, when you have the same core, it's a gift and a curse, so to speak. We had guys that have won multiple league championships. We had guys who have been to the national championship game, guys who've been to Sweet 16s before, guys who won the Mountain West tournament before. So, in a lot of ways, that motivation was different for those guys. It ain't the same motivation to go win league because they've already done it multiple times. They've already won conference tournaments. So, at times during the year last year, it was like as a coaching staff, we got to keep them all balanced. We got to, find different ways to motivate them and get them to keep that drive and that fire alive. And now we got a new group. And it's like every day they come in there excited. They're excited to, make their own mark on the program. Now we have some guys like Miles Bird who's been a part of those teams, but he didn't have a big role, or he wasn't one of the main staples on those teams. So now he's excited to be in that role. We got new guys that haven't won Mountain West League championships. They're excited to do it. So you can feel that new excitement with the new guys, and you can feel that energy every day, and it's been fun to be around.
JayDee Luster is the San Diego State men's basketball assistant. He's with us right now on Jon and Jim. So as you know, Coach, there aren't a ton of Division I players out of San Diego. You were one of them. Wayne McKinney is out of San Diego. Coronado, played at USD, is now transferred across town to San Diego State. What have you seen from Wayne, who's played a ton of college basketball? He's won a lot of games, been a big-time player and scorer. Is there a unique relationship between you and him, a couple of San Diegans, and now he's got a chance to be on the Mesa? Of course, you're coaching at San Diego State.
I mean, he definitely has a special place in my heart for being a San Diegan and being a San Diego kid. I recruited him a little bit when I was at Pacific when he was in high school. But now that he's here, I'm so happy to have him part of our program. I think Wayne does a lot of great things on the floor, and he's an unbelievable kid off the floor. So, he's high character. He's everything that we look for in an Aztec. And, I'm excited to have him here. He's been good. He's really good defensively. I think you'll see some of the same things you've seen out of Lamont Butler as far as like his ability to frustrate guys and pick up guys 94 feet. He's extremely athletic. Like, he's underrated, I think, in that sense. He can really play above the rim at his size, and he's a guy who scored a lot of points at this level. So we'll need that from him this year.
You mentioned Magoon Guath. I feel like to Aztecs fans, he's like an unknown. Like, he's like a little bit of a mystery player. You don't really you see like the potential because of his size, and a lot of people are talking about him, but we haven't seen him on the court yet in game action. What has he shown you in practice specifically that you see, okay, that right there is going to help us immensely going forward for this year and for years to come, hopefully?
I think Magoon, the thing that everybody got to just remember and keep in mind that he will be a freshman. So with freshmen, it's just usually they have their highs and their lows. There's valleys and peaks with freshmen. And I think right now at practice, you see that some days he's really good, and then there's some days where he struggles a little bit. And that's part of his process, part of the journey has been a freshman. So absolutely, he's a big-time player. He has a chance to be really good, but he is only a freshman. But the things he do offensively and defensively, his versatility, his size, being 7 foot and being able to play out on the perimeter, being able to put it on the floor, being able to shoot threes, and then on defense, he can anchor the defense and block shots. So he could do a lot. He's versatile on both ends of the floor, but it's going to be a learning curve. I think by end of December, early January, once we get in the league, I think that's when he'll be really hitting his stride and really getting comfortable.
JayDee Luster with us right now on Jon and Jim. So, Coach, you head up the recruiting efforts for San Diego State. How has this all changed, even in this brief period of time, from maybe you getting on campus in 2021 to where we are now, both prep recruiting with the high school players, but also obviously the portal and the way NIL plays a role? Like, how is your job changing and evolving over the years as college athletics is changing and evolving?
Man, that's a loaded question. That's a loaded question. I'll try to break that down as best as I can. Really, for San Diego State, we recruit high school kids. We believe in recruiting high school kids. We believe that, the high school kids kind of help set our foundation. They help set our culture. And when we do bring in transfers, they're kind of like the liaisons between us and those new players. So they're the ones telling them, no, this is how we do things. This is how we guard. This is how we carry ourselves on and off the court. So the high school guys in our program is extremely important, and we'll continue to recruit high school kids for that reason. We more so use the transfer portal as a way to fill holes in the roster. So if we need a shooter, we'll go in the portal to get a shooter. If we need a shot blocker, we'll go in the portal to get a shot blocker. But we believe in recruiting high school, and we believe that they're a crucial component to the success of our program. So we'll continue to do that. And when we bring in 4 high school kids in one class, I think those days are over. I think at the most it'll be 3. Most years probably 2. But we do believe in recruiting high school kids. Now with the portal and NIL, it's changed things tremendously. You know, a lot of times in that portal, it's more about, you know, how much you're willing to pay a guy or how much they're looking for to be paid. And here at San Diego State, you know, our philosophy is we don't lead with NIL. We don't talk NIL. We talk about, you know, your character. We talk about how you fit within our program, within our system. And if all those things align, then you can talk to our collective and go from there. But it's not something we lead with. It's not something that we're like out here just shopping and leading with financially. So I appreciate that about Coach Dutcher. You know, he keeps the main thing, and he keeps these kids' well-being and their future at the forefront, and it's not just transactional or about a dollar sign.
That's really good insight about where the program is right now. One more, Coach, before you go. I mean, could you have envisioned this personally for you? You know, you get here 3 years ago, San Diego State's 81-27. They've been to the NCAA tournament 3 consecutive years. You were there for a national championship game and a Sweet 16 the very next year. I'm sure you had high hopes when you got back to San Diego. How enjoyable have these 3 years been to watch the team's success?
To be a San Diego and to grow up here, San Diego, and, you know, for me, it's been completely like just, it's been hard to put into words. You know, it's a different pride I put into putting on that San Diego State logo every single day. And to be able to see San Diego State in the national championship, to be able to see us in the Sweet 16 and get the national recognition that we've been able to garnish over the last few years, it's hard to put into words, and it's just really a testament to God. And I'm so fortunate and so blessed, and I just give all the glory to God for just allowing me to be a part of this journey with Coach Dutcher and Aztecs.
An amazing run San Diego State men's basketball is on, has been on, will continue to be on into the future as well. JayDee Luster, we really appreciate you taking time for us. We're looking forward to this fall, obviously. Hopefully we can do it again before the start of the season, and thanks for joining us here on the home of the Aztecs.
Yes, sir. Thank you. God bless.
All right, JayDee Luster, San Diego State men's basketball assistant. On the other side, we will relive the worst national anthem performance of the decade and the fallout in the aftermath of the anthem. Plus, Alan Sliwa will join us at 5 p.m. It's Jon and Jim. All right, the fallout from the worst national anthem performance in sports, at least this decade, is next.
Whoa.
Sports 760, anytime, anywhere, whether you're stepping out of the car or settling in at home. Just ask your Google or Alexa smart speaker to play AM 760 or stream it live through the iHeartRadio app. It's never been easier to stay connected with your favorite shows like this one. Sports 760 goes where you go. We played the anthem yesterday from the Home Run Derby during the show. It was so bad it needs to be played again. Maybe not. We can play. The plot twist is what happened today. I mean, it's let's just play a portion of this. Brent also had it auto-tuned or has it auto-tuned. So let's play a portion of the actual performance, then a portion of the auto-tune, and then the fallout.
And the rockets red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night.
All right, that's enough.
Okay.
That's awful.
It's bad.
And we said that last night. That was really bad.
You even saw Alec Boehm out there like
Laughing.
Now,
hold on. Here's the auto-tune.
It's Pablo Jam. He gave us that.
One question that I have for you. Why do we have to sing the national anthem before the home run derby? Can anybody answer
No
that for
idea.
me?
Because they do it before everything.
They do, yeah. I mean, sporting events, par for the course.
So she released a statement this morning on her Instagram. It said, I'm not going to BS y'all. I was drunk last night. I'm checking myself into a facility today to get help that I need. That was not me last night. I apologize to Major League Baseball, all the fans, and this country I love so much for that rendition. I'll let y'all know how rehab is. I hear it's super fun. XO Ingrid.
I honestly think this is like the easy way out.
Yeah.
And because you have to explain why you were that bad.
Mm-hmm.
And I wonder if she was just that bad.
Look, if she truly does have a problem,
then hopefully she gets help.
Hopefully she gets help. And if this is something that she needs to do, then good for her. And I hope she gets help. But I think the last sentence of this apology is completely BS.
Yeah, I hear it's
I'll let y'all
fun.
know how rehab is. I hear it's super fun. Like, you just are being disingenuous right now. And a lot of people probably think that this is just what your PR team decided to do because they needed something to make sure that last night's national anthem doesn't follow you forever, even though it kind of will.
You'll never be known for anything other than this.
Not right
to
now.
99. No, ever.
Oh, yeah.
Is Ingrid Andress ever going to be known for anything more so than what has played out over the last 24 hours, which is her rendition followed by this mea culpa.
It's now going to be on every national anthem, horrible national anthem highlight video.
Forever. You put it with Carl Lewis and put it with Fergie and
Oh,
put it with That is really
just
bad.
really bad.
So is it top 10?
Probably, yeah.
Is it top 5?
Definitely top 5.
Yeah.
Wow.
Because usually, more often than not, if you're singing the national anthem, you're probably a good singer.
You're pretty good, yeah.
And they practice these things. So I'm wondering, whenever she practiced this beforehand,
maybe she started drinking after the practice.
maybe she's like, "Oh boy, I need some drinks because I'm nervous."
Yeah, or maybe the practice was fine, and then it all went haywire afterwards.
I think her apology up until where she's kind of makes fun of going to rehab, it just makes her apology kind of moot, in my opinion. And going to rehab, again, if you have a serious problem and this is something, I hope you get the help that you need.
Yeah, but what kind of apology says, I'm not going to BS y'all? You know what I mean? She used the actual word, not BS. She said y'all.
I don't know where she's from. Maybe
But
she's
this
from the
isn't.
South.
No, you just embarrassed yourself and others on national television, and this is your apology.
Yeah, you just, first off, asking to sing the national anthem at a sporting event is like an honor, but then to sing it at an event of this stature, I'm not saying it's like the World Series Game 7, but it still is on national television to
5.4 million people watched.
Yeah, millions
and a
of
lot
people.
more people watched on social media your national anthem.
Well, we'll only remember this home run derby for this national
Correct.
anthem, by the way. I know Teoscar Hernandez won. Next year, I'll totally forget that he won this year.
But you'll remember this anthem.
100%. I hope that she really isn't BSing anybody. And if she really does need help, she goes and gets it. But she made a mockery of the whole thing last night by getting drunk, as she said. And it just overall was a really bad look. And I'm sure her PR team was scrambling.
Dude, your PR team, again, to your point, to wrap up your apology with I'll let y'all know how rehab is. I hear it's super
You're just mocking
fun.
it. You can't do that.
It's not good. You had a bad day yesterday that you have now a bad day. PR 101 a little bit is don't let one day of bad PR become 2.
Yeah.
And now you're into the news the second day.
Alcoholism is a serious thing.
No doubt. 100%.
And rehab is a serious thing.
It is.
For you to mock it
is not a good look.
It's not a good look.
I agree.
Yeah, but if you're an actual alcoholic, not everyone goes into rehab with, "Oh, hey, I'm going to rehab. Yay."
But she's like you're a labeled singer. She has a label.
Four-time
Grammy nominee.
I know, but that doesn't matter.
Well, you got to put a little bit into this. The expectations are high. Major League Baseball players are under different microscopes than you and I. Certain things don't apply. If I'm going into rehab, okay, maybe I don't have to have a statement on Instagram. If I just performed in front of 5 million people and made a mockery of myself, I'm going to have to do a little better. Don't you think?
Yeah, I think so. I just
what doesn't she owe some people something?
Well, if she is an alcoholic, she doesn't care what she owes people. That's why I'm saying that, if you're an alcoholic, you're not going to go into rehab with bells and whistles. Right. Most of the time you have to get dragged there.
And this is for whatever
so, her snarky response or whatever you want to call it, it would make sense then if she is an actual alcoholic to where she's showing resistance to where it's like, "Oh, I'm going to stupid rehab, but that's just because my publicist told me I have to."
Well, I was going to say my wrap on this is she didn't create this graphic. You know what I mean? Someone did it for her. It's not text. It's in a black box. Maybe she did. My point is you just said, Brent,
it's very easy to do that.
There's PR, but there's PR here. There's no way she didn't communicate with someone.
Yeah, she's not posting that without her PR team not knowing about it.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Now,
it's unfortunate. It really is because I feel like now if you make fun of that national anthem, people might be looking at you you can't do that because she has a real problem with alcoholism.
No, I disagree.
I do too.
Yeah. It's social media. People react to everything.
Yeah. And she did this to herself. Glad that she's going to rehab if she has a serious problem. That is something that is a serious, serious thing. And I hope she gets help, like we said. But she also mocked it at the end of that statement and then getting drunk during the national anthem. I don't
Yeah,
know.
it was not a good look. Let's be honest. All right, on the other side, we'll kick it off with the wrap. We have a great giveaway in the 4 o'clock hour. That is tickets to see Willie Nelson, Bob Dylan, John Mellencamp at the North Island Credit Union Amphitheater coming up on July 29. Tickets and info at Ticketmaster.com. Alan Sliwa on the state of the Padres heading into the second half at 5 p.m. Stay with us.
All right, this update's brought to you by Staples Stores. Tonight is the All-Star game in Texas. National League versus the American League. Jurickson Profar starting for the National League in left field, batting ninth tonight. Paul Skeens on the mound for the National League against Corbin Burns for the American League. Of course, Luis Ariz, Jackson Merrill, and Robert Suarez are all there as well. Luis Ariz will not play in tonight's game, though, because of his thumb injury. In NFL news, Brandon Ayuk, he requested a trade today from the 49ers after not getting a new contract done as of yet. With Staples Hot Deals, you'll find super low prices on hundreds of items for back to school, including tech. Right now, get up to $500 off select PCs at Staples. Plus, save even more with the Easy Rewards program. Ends 9/14. For participating stores, visit staples.com/stores/school deals.
Previously on Jon and Jim.
We have our goal, which is to make it to the postseason and make it deep into the postseason and bring a championship to the city, and that's our goal, and we're going to continue to do that. So, our focus in the second half is going to be that.
All right, so it's Manny Machado. Talking about the Padres.
Hey, everything's great. Everything's fine. 1549 is okay. It's great, actually. Losing 67. Who cares?
Now it's time for Jon and Jim.
All right, San Diego and Southern California, what's going on? This is hour 2 of Jon and Jim. We've got a great giveaway this hour. Your chance to win 2 free tickets to the Outlaw Music Festival, North Island Credit Union Amphitheater, July 29th. Willie Nelson, Bob Dylan, John Mellencamp, and more. Tickets and info at Ticketmaster.com. Alan Sliwa is going to join the show coming up at 5 p.m. Major League Baseball's 94th All-Star game is tonight, Globe Life in Arlington. Do you know what tickets are going for right now in the secondary market for tonight? Just saw something from the Sports Business Journal for tonight.
I'll go with 1,100.
1,100. Okay, as a get-in price, or
sure.
1,100 get-in. Brent, get-in price tonight.
1,500. Yeah. No,
get-in price
dollars.
is $232 right now. However,
I was thinking about like really good seats. Maybe.
Secondary market is tickets over 5,000 for tonight. I think 232 is pretty reasonable for an All-Star game. Yeah. I don't think 5,000 is. But like, if I could go right now, if someone told me, hey, 20 minutes away, would you drop 232? If the All-Star game was in San Diego tonight and someone said, hey, Jim, I got tickets for you for 232, are you in?
I'm in.
You're in for, I think I am too. I mean, you don't get to see it every year.
I'm in. $100 all in to go for the Team USA game.
So 232 all in for Major League Baseball All-Star game?
What would you rather have? If you had to choose, you can go to only one, the Major League Baseball All-Star game or Team USA exhibition versus Team Canada.
Having now experienced the Team USA exhibition, which I thought was a cool experience, although I didn't think the vibe was great inside T-Mobile. Didn't you feel it was very quiet? It was like a library. Well, I'd probably go with the All-Star game, truthfully.
Okay.
It was a great experience. I'm glad we did it for $100. I thought it was cool. And it was their first game.
And we had really good, like a really good vantage point for sure.
We did. But I think if someone told me right now, 232, you're going, I'm in. Seeing Profar and Merrill and maybe Suarez, I'm in.
Yeah, I'm in.
Seeing Paul Skeens. And
I wasn't able to go to the All-Star game here in San Diego.
2016.
But by everybody that went said it was like a really, really fun, cool experience.
Brent went to the Derby 7 years ago here, or 8 years ago, whenever it was.
I still have my T-Mobile magenta sunglasses that we got that are kind of pointless because they're those sunglasses that don't have lenses. They have like the plastic with little tiny drilled holes in them.
Yeah.
I mean, interesting timing, by the way, to host it in this new ballpark off a World Series appearance, like kind of a home run for baseball, all the excitement in the Dallas area. Yeah, it's a huge home run for the Texas Rangers coming off a World Series to also have the All-Star game. I don't know where it is next year. It's not San Diego.
Is it Cleveland?
I looked it up the other night.
I don't know why I said Cleveland.
I don't know where it is. Brent's looking it up, I think, right now. Atlanta.
Okay.
Yeah, that's right. That's a make good for the game they took away during the pandemic.
That's exactly right. So 2025 Atlanta, and then 2026 is Philadelphia because it's I forget what you call the 250th anniversary of the country, but it's the 250th anniversary of the country. Is 2026 from 1776. So the Major League Baseball All-Star game will be in Philly.
Makes sense.
In 2026. All right, we've got that cool giveaway for you. Bob Dylan, Willie Nelson, John Mellencamp tickets. We'll give those away coming up later this hour. Right now, let's get to this.
It's time for The Wrap, presented by Sombrero Mexican Food. Check out their website at sombreromex.com.
Which Padre are you most excited to see in tonight's All-Star game?
Jackson Merrill. I'm excited to see them all that are available. Maybe I don't need to see Robert Suarez unless he's closing out the game. Like, if Robert Suarez gets an opportunity to close out the All-Star game, that'd be a really, really cool moment for him.
Mhm.
Sorry. But I'll go with Jackson Merrill because, like, he's the Padres' future. As much as we all love Jurickson Profar here, and we are a Jurickson Profar house.
Oh, absolutely.
We raise the Profar banners, okay?
Yeah.
Jackson Merrill's the future of this team.
Yes,
center
no
field.
doubt. No doubt.
He might not be the best player on the team. He's not better than Toddy when he's fully healthy or Manny Machado. But he is a cornerstone piece and a guy that could be in center field for 7-8 years, maybe a decade if he ends up signing a long-term extension and he actually performs like this most of his career.
So your answer is Merrill.
Jurickson Profar. no, it's Jackson Merrill.
But the reason I'm going to
Robert
say,
Suarez.
hear me out, because I'm going to answer this question differently in terms of who am I most excited to see. Let me spin it to say, who would I most want to see win the MVP?
Okay.
And now that's a different question. But by doing that, I'm going to say Profar is the 31-year-old. The guy that may never be there again. Now, Merrill might not either, but he's got opportunities like you just said. In terms of that amazing Hollywood story, 31-year-old back with the team he was playing for coming up as the top prospect in baseball. If Jurickson Profar wins All-Star Game MVP tonight, that is an incredible story, and he would get my vote for among the Padres. Who do I want to see be MVP tonight? I would go with Jurickson Profar.
Well, I also think if Jackson Merrill had a game or a moment,
yes,
say, right, and just by chance, I'm just saying he wins the he wins the MVP.
He hits a 2-run home run that wins it.
He keeps up what he's doing throughout this year. You know, Paul Skeens is
you're looking rookie of the year.
Paul Skeens is going to be tough to beat if he ends up with
really
like a 10-1 record with like a sub-2 ERA. That's going to be almost impossible to beat, maybe. But if Jackson Merrill keeps up this pace of what he's doing right now, has 20-plus home runs, hits around 280, 80 RBIs, maybe 20 stolen bases, right? He already has a Player of the Month, Rookie of the Month under his belt. Maybe he gets another one. And he'll have the All-Star Game MVP to match the numbers. Like, it's
no one's ever done that, correct? Let's go here for a second. Has anyone ever been All-Star Game MVP and won Rookie of the Year?
That'd be the most amazing accomplishment, and I don't think that has happened.
It could have happened with someone
the 70s or 80s
or okay, like an Ichiro. Like, you're and I don't know if he was All-Star Game MVP.
He won the MVP in his rookie year, right? Did he?
I don't know. Did he? You tell. Well, he was definitely Rookie of the Year then. But
he won everything.
But was the All-Star Game MVP as well? I mean, it's neither here nor there.
Ichiro, he won the MVP and Rookie of the Year in 2001.
And what did he do in the All-Star Game in 2000?
He won the All-Star Game MVP in 2007.
Okay.
In San Francisco.
Gotcha.
But still, what Ichiro did for his first
it's a joke.
10 years in the big leagues.
200-something hits every single year.
Dude, it's insane.
Insane.
Incredible. I mean, he had, for the first 9 years of his career, 200 hits. Plus.
I know. I remember.
MVP, Rookie of the Year, All-Star every single year, All-Star Game MVP. Yeah.
We should start an Ichiro channel on
maybe
YouTube.
We should.
Next question.
Where will Brandon Ayuk play next season?
The 49ers. He has no leverage.
Did you see the
here.
story?
I did. He has no leverage. Like, none. He can't go to the 49ers and say he deserves the biggest contract because he is not the best wide receiver in the league.
Okay.
He's not better than Justin Jefferson, Devontae Adams. He's not. That's like the NFL's a cold business at times.
Is he better than Nico Collins?
Yeah, he's better than Nico
All right,
Collins.
well, guess what? Nico Collins makes $10 million more per year than he does.
Okay, well, Brandon Ayuk doesn't want just $10 million more than Nico Collins. He wants more than Justin Jefferson.
Well, would he? Okay, fair. Is he? If he's making 14 a year, and he wants Justin Jefferson 35 a year, would you sit to get it?
No.
If he put his foot down and didn't play for 14, but on the other side of it got 30. Is that a good business move for Brandon Ayuk?
No.
He's not going to sit, you're saying?
He can't. No, he's not going to sit. This is the exact same thing that happened with Deebo Samuel
I know.
with the 49ers. And guess what? Deebo played.
He did.
I think this is the definitive last year with Brandon Ayuk and Deebo on that team. But he doesn't have like a leg to really stand on here. I think his agent's not doing a great job, potentially in having him not sign a contract to wait for what? Something better? You're not getting something better. You're not getting Justin Jefferson money. So just, you're getting the 25 to 30 range.
Perfect. So why can't he get it now? Because he won't take it, you're saying?
He wants more.
San Francisco is prepared to give him that kind of money?
I think San Francisco is prepared to give him a top 10 wide receiver contract. Yes.
Oh, he should do that.
But I think he wants a top 3 wide receiver contract.
So top 3 right now, Justin Jefferson, 35 average annual. A.J. Brown, Eagles, 32. Amon-Ra St. Brown, Detroit, 30. Tyreek Hill, 30.
He's not better than
any of those?
All those guys. It's a fact. He's not catching 110 balls a year.
Yep.
He's not having a year where he has 15 touchdowns. He is a really, really good wide receiver. He's a top 10 wide receiver in the NFL.
Mm-hmm.
I would argue. He's not top 4.
Right. So he wants top 2 money as a top 10 player.
Yes. It's not happening.
Yeah. Okay.
And just think if he had a real quarterback,
he would have
Right,
even
can you
more
imagine?
receiving yards. Man,
Well, maybe he's going to play in EA Sports College Football 25 then.
he'd be an
That's gonna
all-pro instead
Yeah.
of just an all-pro.
say. True. Next question.
are you guys concerned that Bronny's shooting over 15 from 3 in his first 4 summer league games?
This is a problem, John.
He's also shooting 23% overall.
This could get bad. Again,
What did you send us last night? Video of him Bronny taking a 3. It was just an air ball.
it's like Bronny for 3 fire emoji, and it was an air ball.
No, it was 4 feet from the rim.
Yeah. You on one hand, you feel bad for him because he got thrown in the deep end and he's not ready. But then you realize, bro, you're making all of this money from endorsements. You're LeBron James' son. You don't have to ever worry about money. You got a guaranteed contract when most second-round picks don't get guaranteed contracts like you did. And this is on the Lakers and LeBron for putting his son in this position.
Well, let me say this because we texted briefly on this last night. And I feel bad. You both immediately write back dude, he's making all this money. But can I just say this? Agreed. Us 3 likely never will have millions in the bank, right?
No.
But as we've learned through actors and stars and athletes, the money doesn't buy everything. No. There's people that do very well with money, and there's people that end up in all kinds of terrible states of affairs, so to speak. So just because he has more money, fair. He's got a lot of money. Absolutely true. It has advantages. But that alone is the reason I can't feel bad for him because he has more money than we have.
You can feel bad from him from a standpoint of he is probably never going to succeed to the level of how much hype he is getting right now.
Yeah.
And that's the only thing there. That's it.
Yeah, it's one of those things where, Bronny's going to be all right.
He'll be all right.
He'll be fine.
I agree.
But this is also
if the whole
malpractice by the
basketball thing
Lakers.
doesn't pan out, he'll
Dude,
be okay.
But just hear me out. And LeBron to the media recently said, Bronny doesn't give an S, which is good, actually. I'm happy to hear that. Because, dude, Jim, if you or I or Brent, we're 19 in this era with phones, and I'm scrolling my phone if I'm Bronny, and there's all this interaction on social media, this is getting to your head. To 99.9% of people, this becomes a mental hurdle, what you're going through, right? Because it's everywhere in sports. You're asking a 19-year-old to deal with that. Now, maybe he can, and that's amazing if he can, and I trust LeBron when he says that, but I don't kind of wish that on someone. That's a good place to be. You're going to be unstable mentally as a 19-year-old when you're dealing with that type of pressure on social media.
I think it depends on who he's listening to, though, because for all the people that are like, oh, God, he doesn't deserve it, he shouldn't be there, there's Bronny apologists. I saw people today that were comparing him to Trae Young of the Falcons because in his first
Hawks. Hawks.
Oh, that's
Same
right.
bird.
Yeah, that's Atlanta, same town. But they were comparing him to Trae Young about how in his first 3 summer league games, he was 3 for 28. Now he signed a $35
Trae Young had an
contract.
amazing college basketball
He
career.
was incredible.
Exactly.
And Bronny played one season where he had 4 points. And really the heart condition completely threw everything off here and derailed his entire career.
Play until halfway through the year.
There's a tweet from LeBron, John, from last year that's definitely going to make the rounds
Okay.
the more this season goes on.
Saying what?
He said, man, Bronny definitely better than some of these cats I've been watching on League Pass today. S lightweight hilarious.
What about that tweet you sent us last night? Was it Jaylen Brown of
Yes.
the Celtics?
Yeah, he's
Courtside
backpedaling
where?
hardcore now.
Where was he sitting?
He was sitting courtside, and he
Was talking.
with Angel Reese, and I forget the other woman's name.
It was really
But he
damning.
turned to them and he shakes his head. He goes, I don't think Bronny's an NBA player. And it was as clear as day. You could read his lips. And then the woman that he was sitting with, she's like, well, he for sure will be on a G League team. And then he kind of shakes his head like, I don't know.
He'll be in the NBA because of his father.
Yeah, exactly.
That's what happened. Like that's tough to deal with.
He is labeled a Nepo baby. And it's unfair because this is what the doing of LeBron and the Lakers. If he sees the court in the NBA this year, John, that right there is malpractice on the development part of Bronny's game because he ain't anywhere close to ready.
Guess what? He'll
I
see
know.
the court.
I know.
Next question.
Who's going to win tonight's All-Star game?
National League is going to win 7-2.
7-2?
7-2.
What are the Padres going to do?
Every single Padre will have a hit, and by every single
Suarez?
Padre, I mean
It's gonna be incredible.
Profar and Merrill, and there you go.
I'm going to say
I hope they score some
so I'm
runs because
looking-
like a 2-3 game or a 3-2 game will be bad.
money line, American League is favored at -115. The
They win all
over-under
the time.
is 7.5 runs. The AL has won 9 of 10. I'll take the American League at home 4-3. Listen to this. Listen to this prop bet I have for you, Jim. I'm taking the over on 1.5 hits. You know where I'm getting this from. 1.5 hits plus runs plus RBIs for the Padres. So I have the American League 4-3. I'll take the over on 1.5 hits plus runs plus RBIs for Merrill and Profar.
Can we play that tonight?
Probably. Truthfully, you probably can. So that's coming up
I'm gonna check
at 5 p.m. Did you see this story from a few hours ago? We talked about this earlier. You're up in arms. Like, you can barely sleep over these All-Star game uniforms, right? For this year. But hear me out.
No, I'm not gonna. I'm fine with that. I think they're stupid.
Rob Manfred saying earlier today, there will, quote unquote, be conversations about individual jerseys returning for next year's All-Star game. This per Evan Grant, Dallas Morning News Rangers beat writer.
Okay.
So Major League Baseball will have conversations about going back to this look. You can't see it when you listen on radio or if you're watching on YouTube, but just uniforms with a patch on the side of the head. If you're a San Diego Padre, you wear a Padres uniform with an All-Star patch on the side of your cap.
Yeah. I mean, even Bryce Harper said the other day that he wishes that Major League Baseball would go back to what it used to be. Now, the first year that they went to these god-awful uniforms was 2021, if I'm not mistaken, right? Because that was
because there's no All-Star game in 2020.
That was and I want to say in 2021, it was in Colorado, and it was the first year. It was Tatis. He made the All-Star team as a shortstop, and they released the jerseys, and you're like, what the hell are these?
Right.
I'm pretty sure it was the first year.
Well, 2021,
because 2016 here.
Oh, they were awful.
Yeah. Because here in San Diego, when the All-Star game was here,
they wore individual game jerseys.
Everyone wore their individual game jerseys. Also, funny side note to that.
Right.
So 2016, when the All-Star game was here in San Diego. Do you remember, or you weren't even here? Were you here?
For the All-Star game, I was not.
But they changed their jerseys that year. The Padres did to represent the All-Star game being here, and they had the blue with the yellow like piping and everything, right? And they did it specifically for the All-Star game that was here. But I don't think anybody thought through how that all worked out because for whatever reason, I forget the reasoning. It was in a National League park, but the National League team wore the road jerseys and the American League wore the home jerseys.
Why?
Because something with like the stadiums mixed up. I don't know. I forget. And the Padres spent all this time creating a specific home jersey.
Oh, for the All-Star look, but then they didn't even wear it.
And they didn't wear it in the game.
They wore road.
And they had to make one random road jersey with the yellow piping for Will Myers because it was the road jerseys they wore in the All-Star game. And like the whole Mike D and Wayne, like they all effed that whole thing up.
That is one of those, the more you know.
Yeah.
But I will say this: I still will see the All-Star game cap around San Diego from the 2016
I
All-Star.
will see it sometimes.
I mean, I
too.
saw it way more like pre-pandemic, like 17, 18, 19 after 16, but I still will see it occasionally. And in general, I remember them saying in 2016 that no game had better sales at the time than the 2016 All-Star game. Now, that's probably changed. And again, now they do the jerseys. The only reason they do this, stop kidding yourselves. It's all about money. I'm not saying it's right. Why is Shohei Ohtani wearing that hat tonight? Why is Shohei Ohtani wearing that uniform? They know it's going to sell.
Yeah, it will. But at the same time, it just sucks how this is turned into only about money instead of the look on the field and not getting destroyed on social media. Because I guarantee you, John, thousands of tweets tonight will be about how ugly these jerseys are and how everyone hates them. Because the National League, if I'm right, they're wearing blue tops with like red
blue,
with like red arm sleeves.
Mm-hmm.
And are they wearing blue pants?
Oh, I hadn't considered that. Are they?
Because if they are, ugh.
Yeah, but you know what happens, dude? You're right. I've said this before on the radio. A minor league baseball team comes out with a name like the Trash Pandas and everyone rips it on social media. It becomes the #1 selling team. Then there's the Flying Squirrels. It gets ripped. Everyone buys it. Then there's tonight. It gets ripped. Everyone buys it. Am I wrong?
I wouldn't buy it.
I know you would, but that's anecdotal. You're one person.
But I think there's a lot of people.
I agree. But guess what? Those that are in Japan watching tonight, seeing Shohei Ohtani in that unique, specific uniform, tell me I'm wrong in saying that it won't sell like hotcakes.
It probably will sell for sure
over the Ohtani Dodger uniform that already exists.
But you know how Major League Baseball will spin it? We sold out of all these jerseys because they're not making probably a lot of jerseys.
Maybe.
They're probably making a certain amount. And then you go online, it says almost gone.
Because they only had 16.
Right. Like they had like 10 jerseys. You know,
I don't know about that, but I see what you're saying.
Yeah. They can spin it however they want. They can say the most jerseys we've ever sold of any All-Star game jersey. And then you look deeper and you go, the most jerseys you've ever sold was like, just say like 1,000. I'm just like making up a number. Like that's not a lot. You can spin it either way.
I see what you're saying. I mean, those things ain't cheap though. You move a few thousand, $500. You're talking hundreds and hundreds of thousands of dollars in revenue.
I mean, I think the jersey cost what? Almost $200?
The authentics are way more than that. That's the replica.
The replica costs what? $150?
$150 to $200, but they sell authentics, I think, for $449.
Yeah.
I'm just saying it's about money.
If anything, go back to the only New Jersey era that I liked, ironically, actually not ironically, but in LA, Dodger Stadium.
Yeah, when they wore
their jerseys with all of their lettering. It was their jerseys. So
it was just black or white with gold,
it was
right?
Gold lettering.
Oh, that was LA a couple years ago.
And then for the American League, I think it was like black or white.
One was black with gold, the other was white with gold.
Those were great.
Yep.
I'm looking right now on MLB Shop. An authentic All-Star game jersey is $424.99.
Is that good?
If you want a replica one, it's $194.99.
You want to know why they're wearing these? There's your answer. On the other side, is Padres.tv the future of Major League Baseball local broadcasting? We have some numbers that are fascinating to share with you on the other side. And what does it mean for the Padres financials moving forward as well? We've got a great giveaway this hour. Willie Nelson, Bob Dylan, John Mellencamp. We'll give those away in about 15 or 20 minutes. Stay with us. If you're a veteran, listen up. Did you know that you can access up to 100% of your home's equity right now? Hey guys, it's Schaefer. You can do it with Loan Pronto's VA Equity Advantage program. You can get 30 or 50 or even 100 grand or more and use that money to pay off all those credit cards and personal loans, car loans, or maybe use that cash to do that home improvement project. Veterans love working with Loan Pronto because they make it easy. no junk fees, no hassle. They can unlock that cash in your home's equity in a matter of weeks. Don't keep paying insane rates on credit cards. There's a smarter alternative with Loan Pronto. Get more info and start the process now at loanpronto.com. Or if your current VA loan rate is over 6.5%, Loan Pronto can get you in a streamlined refinance with a lower rate right now with no income verification and no appraisal. Lower your monthly payment big time. Loan Pronto makes it so easy for veterans. Call now. Here's the number, 619-207-4336, 619-207-4336, 619-207-4336. Equal housing lender, NMLS 1661781. Subject to lender approval. NMLSconsumeraccess.org.
All right, this update is brought to you by Staples Stores. The All-Star game is tonight in Texas. American League versus the National League. Paul Skeens on the mound to start for the National League against Corbin Burns for the American League. And, of course, Jurickson Profar will be starting tonight for the National League in left field, batting ninth. And NFL news of the day, Brandon Ayuk, 49ers wide receiver, has requested a trade after not getting a contract done with the team this offseason. With Staples Hot Deals, you'll find super low prices on hundreds of items for back to school, including tech right now. Get up to $500 off select PCs at Staples. Plus, save even more with the Easy Rewards program. Ends 9/14. For participating stores, visit staples.com/stores/school deals.
Don't go anywhere. We're giving away Dylan, Willie Nelson, John Camp for later this month in 15 minutes. So be listening for a chance to win. We'll play some trivia. We'll let you know when to call. You know, people are in San Diego County, like not exact, but like roughly. How many people are in San Diego County roughly? No, I know the answer, Brent. Don't ask.
3 million.
Okay, Brent, in the county.
8.
3.3.
Yeah.
So good guess. But to Brent's point, surrounding counties, Orange,
Feels like
obviously south of us, Tijuana, east of us, you're talking millions.
Yeah.
You already have 3 in the county plus millions more in the counties that surround it. And then, of course, you could be a Padres fan anywhere. You could have lived here and then moved to Philadelphia and be a Padres fan.
We have so many Padres fans that watch the wrap-up show that don't even live in San Diego.
Right. We hear from them all the time, from all over the country, from Asia, from Europe, from Mexico and beyond.
Utah.
Yeah. Everywhere.
Yeah.
We get them. Here's the point. So there's millions in the county. It's one of the most populous areas in the country. How many people are subscribing to Padres.tv? Now, we know the answer. Any guess?
Oh, no, I just raised my hand. I am.
Okay, yeah, well, I am too. And so is Jim.
Just under 2 million.
2 million?
Just in this county?
To Padres.tv that are paying for the subscription?
In San Diego. So the county of San Diego, from Oceanside to all the way down to Imperial Beach and Chula Vista to...
No, you could be in Philadelphia, though, because you can buy a local team. It's one team rights you can buy. So you can be anywhere.
Okay,
I don't know if you could be in Europe, but you can be in America and buy.
But
it
also,
anywhere.
like, predominantly Padres fans
are going to be in Southern California.
Southern California.
Yes. So anyway, I'll give you the answer. It's not 2 million.
No, it's not close.
It's 40,000.
Yeah.
So the math on that, you might be saying to yourself, well, is that a low number? Now, there's not a great reference point. There's only 2 teams that are doing the .tv broadcast, the Diamondbacks and the Padres. I don't know the Diamondbacks number, but hear me out. 40,000 at $100 a pop.
Mm-hmm.
Do the math.
I don't want to.
$4 million. They got 60 to start 2023 from Bally's.
Yeah.
Now they might be getting some money here from the Eureviews of the world and the Cox televisions, but you're getting 4 for Padres.tv. By the way, you know there's a cut in there for Major League Baseball and distribution and providing. And then let's say you're getting another, I'm making it up, couple million somewhere. You went from 60 to 6. It's a problem.
Yeah, I saw that this morning, and my initial thought was that seems kind of low, right? And when you think about it more, that's not even a considered sellout at Petco, right?
Right, sellout's 40 grand. You're right. I mean, a little more, but it's comparable to a filled Petco.
It's like a fake sellout.
Comparable.
Yeah,
it's comparable.
It's comparable.
Yeah.
So it's a Monday night at Petco.
It's a large baseball crowd.
That's not good enough. It's not. I think, you know.
And some of these people aren't paying $100. You can just buy for a month for $20 and be out.
A lot of people actually watch it on like illegal streams.
Well, that's the issue.
So this has to change. Eric Hubner, Eric Cassandra, and everybody down there. Like, I'm sorry, there's an elephant in the room. I'm sure Dave will call somebody in a minute. Is the TV deal that this team currently does not have supporting the franchise.
I agree.
And if Eric Hubner, who I think is in charge of this, right? Like, he is like the spearhead person for.
Well, it might have fallen on his desk. It ain't his fault. Bally's went under.
No.
Major League Baseball people took over distribution.
But you now have had well over a year to figure something out.
Well, what do you even figure? Oh, hear me out. Okay, give me. What do you even figure out? What's the best case scenario? I mean, I'm trying to. I'm with you. I mean, sell more subscriptions is one option.
It's also a baseball thing too. Like baseball's kind of like trying to not. I don't know what they're doing, but whatever they're doing, it's not working because the Bally Sports thing was a disaster. The second that the Padres switched to Bally Sports, the very first game, the very first inning, I think I even looked at you and I said, this is going to be a disaster because of the quality of the game and just the look of it all. And then the Bally Sports app, it was a joke. So baseball has a real problem on their hands. If Bally Sports continues to, if these teams continue to lose the Bally Sports TV and have to go to the model the Padres are under, this is not sustainable. It's not. Every time I watch the game, they play the same ad every single time. I don't know what they're getting in ad revenue from this, but it can't be a lot because there's only one ad running. It's baseball's ad.
But consider this for a second. Like, you think about live sports on television, and you don't typically hear about, like, again, local broadcast rights. Yeah, there's going to be tens of thousands of people watching. But, like, if you have 40,000 subscribers, Jim, that doesn't mean 40,000 households are watching per night. That means you have 40,000 subscribers, which means you have fewer than 40,000 people watching every. Does that make sense to you? That the San Diego Padres who play in front of 40,000 people every night at Petco, you're telling me when they're playing on a Tuesday night against the Seattle Mariners, they've got 40,000 subscriptions out there, so they're only reaching 40,000 households, but not everyone's using their subscription. Let's say, 50%, that's a huge number, are using 60%. That means 24,000 people are watching and 40,000 people are in the ballpark. That doesn't even make any sense to me.
This has nothing to do with the actual discussion that we're having, but every time that I go out on like a Saturday night or I go to a bar,
I know exactly what you're going to say.
Or I go to a restaurant or anywhere that has televisions and they have a sporting event on, or they have the Padres are playing that night. Guess what I never see?
The Padres.
I never see the Padres.
Just said it to Kristen. We went out this past weekend. I asked them to change it to the Padres. It took there were 3 televisions. None of them were on the Padres. It took 11 minutes, and it eventually ended up on the TV in the city of San Diego.
The only place that consistently plays Padres games is to me, because I go there a lot, is Novo.
Novo, of course. And there's a lot of places that do, but there's a lot of places that don't.
A lot of places that I go to, and I'm thinking to myself,
what is going on?
Why?
Yeah.
Same thing with if to a lesser extent San Diego State, but maybe they don't have the channels. I get it, but I mean, if you are a local establishment here in San Diego and you are a bar or a restaurant that has televisions and the Padres are playing and you don't have the Padres game on, what are we doing?
By the way, the math we just did doesn't add up because I'm like, okay, 40,000 subs. Does that mean 40,000 people are watching the games? No, because they're on Spectrum. They're on Cox.
That doesn't help the Padres.
Agreed. But in terms of, I'm like, wait, there's 40,000 people at the ballpark and there's 20,000 subscribers watching, but there's tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands of people with cable systems. No, it does help the Padres. I just don't know to what extent. Cox isn't getting it for free.
No, they're not, but they're also
probably not paying tens of millions of dollars.
Cox is whatever. I have my opinions about it, but at the same time, this whole thing, I would have expected them to have more than 40,000.
Seems like it.
If you told me right now, 100,000, I'd be like, that's a good number. That's a good number.
Times 100, you're 10 million plus your cable systems. Maybe you're getting
pretty decent number.
40,000 again. That's across the country. I think that are logging in to buy that Padres package. Yeah, I thought it might be larger than that. All right, let's do it. Who wants tickets to see Bob Dylan, Willie Nelson, and John Mellencamp? First 2 callers will be our contestants for trivia today. Here is the number to call: 877-767-4760. 2 free tickets to the Outlaw Music Festival, North Island Credit Union Amphitheater. This is July 29th. It's coming up. Willie Nelson, Bob Dylan, John Mellencamp. Call 877-767-4760 if you want those tickets. Again, 877-767-4760. First 2 callers will be our contestants. That's next. All right, Trainwreck Radio, trivia on the other side. Alan Sliwa on the Padres at the break, and on the U.S. men's Olympic team, he'll join us at 5. All right, we're going to play Trainwreck Radio in a moment. Alan Sliwa at 5 p.m. By the way, Manfred did say the Padres have more subscribers than anyone, but I think there's 2 teams. Now, one of them was in the World Series last year, and it is in a larger city,
But they're also
irrelevant. I mean, not irrelevant. That's probably not right, but among the 30 teams in popularity, where would the Diamondbacks rank?
close to the bottom.
27th, maybe?
They're not even the number 1 team in their state. You got the Cardinals, the Phoenix Suns.
Not even you mean in their city?
In their city, yeah.
Yeah.
Arizona.
No, they're not even close. I mean, the
Diamondbacks,
Coyotes left.
Coyotes left. It doesn't matter. Arizona State, Arizona, college football, like maybe.
Yeah, I would
don't
put
know.
them, to your point, I'm sure it's Cardinals, Suns, Diamondbacks among the big 3.
Yeah.
With the NHL out, would
Yeah.
be my guess. I'm sure the Suns are more popular, right?
Yeah.
I would think. They've been there for forever.
Their arena sucks, but it's a really bad arena.
Well, anyway, Manfred's saying the 40,000 subs is the most in baseball, but they only own the rights, I think, to 2 teams.
I just know that next year, if they're not on some type of package or they don't get a better TV deal instead of this Major League Baseball production that they are throwing out there, which is not good, they got problems going forward. And that only means payroll may be coming down more and money starts becoming,
Tighter.
It's it's gonna be a problem if they don't figure this out.
All right, we will. There's actually an update to that story I'll share with you coming up at the 5 o'clock hour as well from Rob Manfred today in Texas. Alan Sliwa is going to join us coming up at 5 p.m. Right now, let's play.
All right, 3 questions, 2 contestants, 1 lifeline. Today's 2 contestants, we have Bill and we have Steve. Bill, you called in first, so you have your choice of Jon or Jim. Who do you want to go with?
John, please.
All right, Bill and
Very
John.
definitive there.
Smart.
Bill, John. Steve, you get me, okay?
Let's go, Jim.
All right, let's go, man. Brent, what is the question of the day?
All right, you guys know the All-Star game's tonight?
What?
Yeah, it's crazy. The All-Star game is tonight. Today's question: can you name any All-Star game MVP since 2014? So we're just looking for anyone that's been named All-Star MVP since the 2014 All-Star game.
Okay.
All right.
What were you laughing at? Were there horses on the field?
No, I'm laughing at
Oh.
David Bell looking like the classic. How you doing, kids? Like he just looks weird in that
Okay,
in that
in that
jersey
uniform.
and that
Okay.
hat. It
All right.
just looks very weird. They
Gotcha.
all do. Steve, you're up first. What is your first guess? You do have your lifeline if you choose to use it.
As crazy as it sounds, I'm gonna say Eric Hosmer.
Eric Hosmer. Very good
Hosmer
guess.
MVP.
Huh?
Aw.
He was an MVP in 2016. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I was gonna say
Here
he
in San
was,
Diego. Yeah.
Like, what,
Yeah,
are we
I
talking about
could've
Major
sworn.
League Baseball? All right.
Yeah. Bill, you're up next. What is your first guess? You do have a lifeline if you choose to use it.
Let's try Mike Trout.
Mike Trout.
Good guess.
On the list.
Steve, back to you. What is your second guess? You do have a lifeline if you choose to use it.
I'm gonna go another former Padre, Robinson Cano.
Robinson Cano on
Wow.
the list. All right. Bill, back to
Do
you.
we have All-Star historians?
Second guess here. What do you got? You also have a lifeline if you want to use it.
Let's use a lifeline.
Lifeline.
I mean, I truly have no idea. and I'm being
You can't name last year's.
I mean,
All-Star
I'm
game
looking.
MVP?
I have no idea. I'll give you Mookie Betts, and I truly have no idea.
Okay. You take that, Bill?
No, I'm going to try Aaron Judge.
Aaron Judge. Is he on the list?
No.
All right.
Steve could win it here with the correct answer.
Mr. All-Star Steve.
Yeah, you do have a lifeline still. So what are you going to do? And what's your final guess?
Is Vladdy Jr.?
Vladdy Jr.?
Wow,
On the
for the
list.
walk-off with Vlad. Now, was Mookie on the list?
No.
All right. Well, you say it like I was supposed to know because he didn't use it. All right. So we would have been wrong either way.
Hey, there's Robert Suarez.
He hasn't
Also
won
not on the list.
MVP.
No.
All right. Who is on this list since 2014 Major League Baseball All-Star Game MVPs?
All right, well, we'll go back in time first. The ones that are missing after Robinson Cano in 2017, Alex Bregman won in 2018, Shane Bieber won in 2019, then Vlad Guerrero won in 2021, Giancarlo Stanton won in 2022, and Elias Diaz won last year.
Can I guess on the 2014 MVP? Or did we already get that
Trout.
one? Oh, it's Trout,
I
2014?
think he won it like.
Yeah, it's Trout.
Did he win
back-to-back.
2013?
No,
Oh,
he won
okay.
14 and 15.
Okay.
That's right. My bad.
And I'm not used to hearing Eric Hosmer and MVP.
No,
so
that's fair.
Yeah, I
my
get it.
muscle memory is like wrong.
Steve, congratulations. You've won a pair of tickets to the Outlaw Music Festival. This is at the North Island Credit Union Amphitheater, July 29th. Willie Nelson, Bob Dylan, John Mellencamp, and more. Tickets and info at Ticketmaster.com. Keep listening this week for your chance to win. By the way, the update to the story we were just talking about, the Padres.tv story, is this from the Sports Business Journal. I need to find the exact write-up here. Sports Business Journal reporting within the last 10 minutes. As Major League Baseball faces media disruption, Commissioner Rob Manfred hints at a possible national package for regional sports networks. So you buy a larger package and you could turn on the Padres, then you could turn on the Mets. You could do this anyway with with MLB.tv. You just can't watch it in local markets. The point is they have a plan to deal with this disruption. I just don't know if they're going to get the same money. Nobody has explained that to me. How do the Padres get their $60 million in this new era when they're going direct to consumer? That's the part nobody has explained. Maybe Major League Baseball has a plan, but currently Padres aren't getting the same amount of money. And that's a big reason why their payroll has gone down. Alan Sliwa was going to join us on the other side, the host of Lakers Talk, ESPNLA. We just saw the Olympic men's basketball team. His thoughts on LeBron and AD and more going for a gold. Plus, Padres at the halfway point. Alan's a San Diego State alum. We'll talk some Padres with Alan to kick off hour number 3 of Jon Jim. That comes your way next.
All right, this update is brought to you by Staples Stores. The All-Star game moments away in Texas. National League's got introduced. Jurickson Profar starting for the National League, hitting 9th, playing left field. Of course, Paul Skeens on the mound for the National League against Corbin Burns for the American League. And NFL news of the day, Brandon Ayuk, 49ers wide receiver, has requested a trade after not getting a contract done with the team this summer. With Staples Hot Deals, you'll find super low prices on hundreds of items for back to school, including tech. Right now, get up to $500 off select PCs at Staples. Plus, save even more with the Easy Rewards program. Ends 9/14. For participating stores, visit staples.com/stores/schools deals.
Previously on Jon and Jim.
We have our goal, which is to make it to the postseason and make it deep into the postseason and bring a championship to the city, and that's our goal, and we're going to continue to do that. So, our focus in the second half is going to be that.
All right, so it's Manny Machado. Talking about the Padres.
Okay, everything's great. Everything's fine. 1549 is okay. It's great, actually. Losing 6 and 7. Who cares?
Now it's time for Jon and Jim.
All right, San Diego and Southern California, what's going on? Final hour of Jon and Jim. We'll keep you updated on the All-Star game in Arlington in Texas. Also this hour, your chance to win tickets to see Niall Horan, North Island Credit Union Amphitheater, July 30th, not June. That's already happened. July 30th, Ticketmaster.com for tickets and info. It's always our pleasure to catch up with Alan Sliwa, who's with us, ESPNLA, native San Diegan, Padres fan. We'll talk about the U.S. men's basketball team as well. We just saw them in Vegas. No big deal. Yeah, sure, we were in Vegas. We saw the U.S. men's basketball team.
Yeah, no, it's humble brag.
Alan, we appreciate you. Let's start with the Padres, though. 99 games in. Everything was going swimmingly for a moment, but they closed 1-6. They're 50-49. Approaching the trade deadline. As a Padres fan, how do you feel about the state of affairs right now with San Diego at 50-49 overall? And thanks for hopping on.
No, I appreciate you guys having me. Probably right where they should be. You don't feel good about it. Even kind of going into those final couple of games, you had the series against the Mariners. You're like, can you just split here? The series against the Braves, what it would have meant to just win that game on Sunday, and you had such a better taste in your mouth. But this is also, unfortunately, how the Padres have been. I've heard you guys talk about it. All that ground, all that momentum that you built, you obviously lost it there towards the end. But I think this is kind of who this team is. They've had a lot of people outperform what they thought they were going to be. I think health is going to mean so much to this team. I mean, obviously, to play virtually most of the season without Darvish, without Musgrove, obviously Bogart's just coming back, Tatis. I'm not crazy about it, but I also kind of feel like this is where they probably should be. It'd be nice if they were 3-4 games over 500, but I think where they're sitting, they're in the hunt. And if you told me before the season started that they're right in the thick of it, they're in the thick of it.
What percentage chance do you think they have, or what would you give them to make the postseason this year?
To make the postseason, I'll give them a little bit of the benefit of the doubt. It's not going to be much. I'll say 55% they make it, 45% they don't. I think here's the problem is teams like Arizona, who have been, beat up for most of the year as well, some of their key pitchers, guys are going to start coming back. And you're not just dealing with one team. You're dealing with the St. Louis Cardinals, the New York Mets, the Arizona Diamondbacks. The Giants aren't too far back. Pittsburgh's in the mix. The problem is you have so many teams, and that's a good thing and a bad thing, right? Even Atlanta hasn't taken over that top wild card spot. So there are spots to be had, but you got a lot of teams fighting for it. So I'm gonna give them I'm gonna give them the benefit of the doubt and say that they do make it.
Alan Sliwa with us right now, ESPNLA, Jon and Jim, San Diego Sports 760. So, Preller's obviously known for the moves. He's already made a series of them this year. It hasn't necessarily panned out from a win-loss perspective. Luis Arise, Dylan Cease. If you're the organization, are you even considering moving quote-unquote top prospects, guys like Ethan Salas or Leo DeVries, in an effort to make this year's team better? Would you even consider that or not?
No, not the top ones. I think, and maybe this one's kind of tough, and I'm sure you guys have had plenty of these conversations. That run in 2022 was obviously special. We know how far the Padres got and how close they were to potentially get into a World Series. And as a native San Diegan, we obviously don't have too many of those experiences. At the same time, there's a lot of unbelievable prospects that are sitting in Washington right now, and that's just the price of doing business. If you told me that this squad was, listen, it's not that they don't have a chance, but I think the bigger question is going to be, how much better can you get with just guys returning back in the lineup? And if you feel like, you could at least try to make a real playoff run based on just being healthy, that's what you're ultimately hoping for. I don't want to give up some of these other top prospects for a year that is so up in the air of who obviously can compete for a World Series. I hesitate on that one, but I do understand those that are saying, you know what, how many shots do you have? Let's go for it. But they're 50 and 49. It's not like they're sitting 10, 12, or 14 games over 500 where you feel like they have a legitimate shot at winning a World Series.
All right, to get to what we brought you on for, obviously Lakers Summer League and Dalton Connect. Bronny, not going well for him in the Summer League right now. I'm sure you guys talk a lot about it all in LA. He's 0 for 15 from 3. The Jaylen Brown thing last night. Like, where are you at right now with Bronny being on this team, and your thoughts on them actually drafting him?
So I think that maybe I've been covering it for a little bit. I mean, just kind of think about it. That's all anybody's really talked about for the last month or so. I feel bad for him. So I think the spot that he's in, I did one of my shows yesterday, my Lakers show yesterday, and I was talking about how he had a quote after the game on Friday in the Summer League, basically saying that he's willing to play at any level. He just wants to play basketball, something along those lines, that he just wants to play as much basketball as he can. I'm really, I don't want to hear from LeBron talking about Bronny. I don't want to hear from JJ Redick saying, he earned it. I don't want to hear from anybody about Bronny. I kind of just want to hear from Bronny. I feel bad for the position he's in. In Summer League, probably about 80 to 90% of these guys are lucky to be on an NBA roster. Who knows if they're going to end up predominantly playing in the G League, but clearly the players that are on there, the ones that excel, the ones that are really, really good in G League are probably ones that are barely trying to crack a rotation in the NBA. If you're struggling like he is, and the 0 for 15 that you threw up, I just feel bad for the guy. Yesterday, he has the air ball that's all over ESPN. He's got the shot that he hits in the fourth quarter, just a simple 15-footer, and the crowd is cheering like he did something. It's almost like mocking, I guess you can say. So I feel bad the position that he's in, but this is what happens when your dad is LeBron James. A lot of people feel like you got in the NBA for no other reason than that's your dad. And I don't really disagree with that. I do agree that Lakers only selected him because his last name is James. And it's going to have to be something. If LeBron got him in the door, it's now up to him to either sink or swim. And he's going to have a very difficult time. Let's put it that way.
Yeah. And he can't help that LeBron's his dad. Like, he didn't have a choice. That just happened. So this more on LeBron fails, or the Lakers were abiding to LeBron's wishes and drafting his son?
Well, I mean, I think ultimately it's the Lakers' decision what they want to do with the pick. Now, if they strategically say, look, we're going to take his son because we want him to resign and we want to make sure he's happy, I don't think that's incredibly uncommon in the business world. However, I obviously wasn't a fan of him coming at number 55, and some people say, who cares? It's a late second-round pick. But I don't think Bron has helped either. I really don't. I go back to when LeBron said a while back it would be a dream for him to play with his son. I think there's unnecessary added pressure. If LeBron had also come out and said, listen, I just want my son to be in the league. I want him to go wherever he goes. We don't necessarily have to play together. If that were to naturally happen, then it naturally happened. But the problem is he's playing for the Los Angeles Lakers, which you guys know is a franchise that's covered for everything. And I think it is there is some circusy to it. And I don't think you can really deny that. So, yes, I do think that, putting some of this on Bron's shoulders, but LeBron would sit here and say, I don't care. I'm playing with my son. And he just signed a contract for $7.9 million. So I'm sure LeBron is not too concerned about it either.
Last point on that, Alan Sliwa with us right now, Jon and Jim, San Diego Sports 760. Like, what's a win for Bronny short, medium, long term? Like, you're never LeBron. You can't be LeBron. Nobody's LeBron. In the history of the league, nobody's this dude, essentially. Right. So what are people asking of him? I mean, what's a win here, Alan, if we look up in, let's say, 2, 4, or 6 years? I mean, what's a win from Bronny's perspective?
I think a win is a couple years he's heavily playing in the G League. He does have opportunities where he comes up to the NBA, but he's sitting on the pine over at the end of the bench. I think in 4 years, he's a rotational player in the NBA that is known for being a nuisance on the defensive side, picking up guys, high energy type of player. And then let's say in 6 years, he's developed a jumper. Right now I hear the term 3-and-D. I'm like, you can't, you can't describe somebody as a 3-and-D guy that can't hit a three.
Right.
So I think there's going to be a natural progression in his game. But I think in a perfect world for Bronny James, he's in the NBA. He's playing on a good team where his strengths are highlighted. And those strengths are basically, I'm here to play defense. I have a specific job. And over the years, I get better at shooting jumpers and shooting threes where I got to be sort of respected. And that's okay. A lot of people make great money in the NBA by doing that. But he's going to have, listen, the guy's going to have challenges. He's also 6'2". It's not like he's, 6'6" or something along those lines. One of the things that makes his dad so unbelievable is he's not only one of the greatest players to ever play the game, he's a freak of nature. If you used to watch basketball back in the days, it's Karl Malone bringing the ball up. It's Charles Barkley shooting from the perimeter and averaging 10 assists in a season. Like, it's unreal what LeBron has done. And clearly Bronny, obviously, from just his size and his frame is nothing nearly like his pops.
So you think that definitively, though, he's going to be on an NBA floor this season because LeBron, we don't know how many years he's going to play, and this may be his only shot?
I think, let me give you an example. There's a player from the Lakers last year that was, I can't remember the exact, I think maybe somewhere in the 40s, Lakers took Maxwell Lewis in the second round. And not a bad player, kind of has some opportunity. Tall guy, he's got good length. He got on the floor last year for the Lakers, and he primarily got on only because there was a blowout and there was a circumstance where a second rounder got some playing time because of that predicament. So I do think there's going to be times he gets on the court. Now, if he's getting on the court and he's getting on before other players that should be there, that's obviously going to create a problem. But I think he's going to get on the court, and I think he's primarily going to get on the court because there's going to be games where there are blowouts, and usually guys all the way at the end of the bench and late second rounders get on the floor. Even first, Jalen Hood-Schifino was drafted number 17 for the Lakers, and there was times he'd get on the floor, but it was never at a time that was a critical situation. It was always during, when a game was over. So I think there will be that type of predicament for him as well.
Alan, final one for me. This U.S. men's basketball team obviously has LeBron and AD. We had the good fortune of seeing them in Vegas last week. They weren't overly impressive. It was their first exhibition game. They did win, I'd say, handedly against Team Canada. They had a large lead the other night, ended up beating Team Australia. There's all this conversation, best team ever put together. We'll see it play out, obviously, over the weeks ahead. How do you look at this team heading into these Olympic Games?
So the whole best team and everything else. I mean, listen, the team's old. So let's not. I hate when they're trying. If it was LeBron in his prime and KD in his prime, and obviously Kawhi is already off the team. I think they're always going to be the heavy favorites. How can they not be? Even the players that Devin Booker and Drew Holiday. There's other great players that are on this team aside from players that obviously are current stars in the NBA. I mean, you could say Devin Booker's a star. I think where they're going to face some trouble is if, we've watched this before, and I like international basketball. I'm not watching all the time, but these are guys that play together. These are guys from other countries that have a certain style. The way you can beat a team that's incredibly talented is do it in a team type of form. So a lot of this also depends on the United States. Are they playing team ball? Are they playing hero ball? I think when the dust settles, USA wins obviously wins the gold, and I don't think there's going to be any shocker if they do. The only surprise is if that's not the case. So I do think that that's going to happen. And last thing, I'd like to change my answer. I'm upping my percentage from 55 to 60% now. Padres are
Wow.
going to make the playoffs.
That
So,
whole
yeah,
interview.
We got to keep you on here.
Yeah, by the time
Yeah,
the
I
show's
don't know
over, you'll
what
be at
happened.
90%.
I don't know what happened, but I grew 5% faith over the last 5-6 minutes.
Oh,
so
wow.
60%.
Sometimes it just you get to think about it a little more and
Yeah.
then you get there. And by the way, I mean, Jason Tatum's obviously better than Scottie Pippen was in 1992. Duh. So, I mean, anyway.
Alan, we appreciate it, man. Maybe we'll keep you for another 40 minutes. Then your Padres playoff percentage will be 100. Based on that math, looking forward to the All-Star game. Appreciate you hopping on. Always do. We hope to do it again later this summer. Hopefully you're having a good summer, and appreciate you joining us in San Diego as always.
Of course. Thanks, Ross. Appreciate it.
All right. Alan Sliwa, the host of Lakers Talk on ESPNLA. You know what I want to say to you? There's a lot I wanted to say to you, but this is what I wanted to say.
Say it to my face.
Yeah, I'm going to.
Okay.
Former Padres in the All-Star game tonight. We've talked about this briefly, I think, over the last week. Here's the list.
Yeah.
Okay.
What you got?
CJ Abrams.
Okay.
Emmanuel Clase. Padres are farmhands, by the way.
Yes, correct.
Abrams, Clase, Max Fried, Seth Lugo, Andres Munoz, Josh Naylor. It's like the whole team. Juan Soto, Matt Strahm, Trey Turner, Kirby Yates. 10. How many All-Stars are there? Roughly 30 per team, or is it 35?
They don't.
It's in the low 30s, maybe. It's at least 30.
Yeah.
But
one from your teams.
But 30. Oh, thank you.
Yeah.
30 times 2 is 60. 10 former Padres plus 4 current would be 14 of the what? 60 something or 70 at Padres ties, like 25% at Padres ties.
Every single one of them.
23 on each side.
23. That seems very low.
AJ Preller has his fingerprint on every single one of them too. This wasn't like a situation where they were former Padres before Preller. Like, no, they were all here
right. Well,
because of AJ
Preller.
Preller.
He's been here 10 years. I mean, how many guys have been in the big leagues?
I'll
for
take
20?
that. Trey Turner was not a guy that was drafted by Preller, but he was traded away by Preller.
Yep.
So yeah, that's
how would you if you could put one of those players in the Padres right now? Abrams, Clase, Fried, Lugo, Munoz, Naylor, Soto, Strahm, Turner, Yates. Who would you put in the Padres if you could take one of those players back?
Oh,
it's 35 by the way.
So okay, so 70 total.
Pitchers and reserves are 23 for each side, and then the 12.
Gotcha.
Starters.
Okay.
You know who I mean, the easy answer is Juan Soto.
But on this team, it's not as easy, really. You got.
But if you're gonna factor in contracts and money and all that stuff,
yeah, okay, we can do that. That's fine.
All right. I might choose CJ Abrams just because if he's under control for a super long time, and you're losing Hassan Kim next year.
You know who I might choose right now? Seth Lugo. You need him.
Yeah, you need him.
He's had this amazing year with his 2 ERA.
Obviously, like the future and stuff. But anyway,
I'm talking about now.
Yeah,
I mean,
Seth Lugo, bring him back.
You're right. No, or like now or future. Of course, Soto. I mean, the guys want Soto.
Yeah.
When we saw him here, I mean, they went 82 and 80 last year. I mean, all these guys have their roles. These back end bullpen pieces that we've taled about, lengthening out your bullpen.
They could go out and get Kirby Yates this year.
I know
he's a guy that I've said is probably going to be on the trade market, probably highly sought after because he's having a fantastic season. The Rangers are not doing well. I think they're 7 back of the final wild card spot.
Mm-hmm.
He's going to be a big time trade piece for them. Go out and get Kirby Yates. Go out and get him for the back end of your bullpen.
Interesting.
And you have Yates and you have Suarez and Estrada. That's a good 7, 8, 9 right there.
It'll be interesting because for a moment tonight, your eyes turn to Texas and you're watching and you're smiling and you're enjoying. But come tomorrow, it's back to where they are. We haven't spent any time on that today. They're 1-6 in their last 7. There's holes everywhere. Rotation, bullpen, right field. And they're about to be in Cleveland against a really good team this weekend. Yeah. So tonight, enjoy it because it is fun and it is the All-Star game. And you don't have to harp on, oh my gosh, look at where they are. They're on the outside looking in with a tough road trip coming up, dealing with injuries and needing to address the trade deadline over the next 10 days. So tonight, enjoy it because on the other side, like there's real work to be done.
Isn't it crazy that this team has 5 All-Stars that You have how many walk-offs this year?
6.
You have crazy comebacks.
Mm-hmm.
You have amazing moments. Like the first half of this season has already completely eclipsed everything they did last year. Everything, right?
Kind of. Yeah, I see what you're
from an
an entertainment. Yeah, they didn't have as many walk-offs.
Yeah.
Yes.
They've like crazy wins and performances from Jurickson Profar and Jackson Merrill.
No, I agree.
Like all that has been great. And just talk about the first half for as long as you want, like crazy good moments. So there's a lot of moments that a lot of people remember for a long time. And they're only 50-49.
Mm-hmm.
Does that like concern you? Because
of course it concerns me.
Yeah, it should.
And like to your point, they've had more memorable moments in 2024 than they had in all of 2023. But the end result is what matters. And if their end result record is the same as 2023, are you going to remember it any differently, Jim?
No.
If they go 82-80 and they miss out by a game, I'm just making it up, and they have 8 walk-offs and more come from behind wins, but they're 82-80, you're not gonna be like, they weren't like 2023. No, they were. They were. Yeah. It's an end result.
So that is a scary thing to think about, that they have already eclipsed everything they've done. Yet they're 50-49.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of times we sit here and go, shouldn't they be better? Because it feels like it sometimes, and they're not.
Yes. No, you're exactly right.
And that's a scary thing going into the second half. Because if they do not replicate even half of the moments that they've had in the first half, from comeback wins and walk-offs to individual performances from players that, without those performances, who knows where this team would be? And they also have to be better than that. Like, that's a huge issue going into the second half. Because if you don't get that plus more, dude.
Well, that's why
good luck,
I
man.
said to Darnay Trip on Sports Trap on NBC7 at 11:35 p.m. on Sunday night that the first half to me has been blah. It's only because of that 1-6 finish, because the record is 50-49. If you would have told me the record was 7 games over 500, I wouldn't have said that.
Totally different.
Everything changed based on that 1 week, and that's how sports work. If the game benches, the season's defined on, each week matters. And this past week was really bad, unfortunately, for the Padres.
And they have been good this year at bouncing back quickly from bad weeks. The problem is they've been also really good this year in giving it all away.
That's how you get to 500, which is where they are. All right. The All-Star game is underway. We'll keep you updated on the other side. Plus, a surprise visitor this week at the Jam Center for San Diego State men's basketball. Who? We'll tell you next on Jon and Jim. All right, an update from Arlington where the Major League Baseball All-Star Game is underway. Plus, who was the surprise guest at San Diego State men's basketball practice? That's next.
This update is brought to you by Staples Stores. All-Star Game underway in Texas. Scoreless as we head to the bottom of the first inning. And NFL news of the day, Brandon Ayuk, 49ers wide receiver, after not getting a contract done with the 49ers this offseason so far, has requested a trade. With Staples Hot Deals, you'll find super low prices on hundreds of items for back to school, including tech right now. Get to $500 off select PCs at Staples. Plus, save even more with the Easy Rewards program. Ends 9/14. For participating stores, visit staples.com/stores/school deals.
Who was the last Padre drafted by the organization to become an All-Star as a Padre before Jackson Merrill?
Was it Khalil?
Tony.
Good guesses. Jake
Jake Peavy, yeah.
Jake Peavy. So you'd have to go back 19 years. Yeah. His first Major League All-Star appearance, I think. So that's how long you've gone. Merrill will appear here tonight. Presumably, the National League has not played well. They failed with the man in scoring position. They're second and third, 2 outs.
Who do I talk to?
Couldn't come through. So scoreless to the bottom of the first inning. Now remember, Jim's big thing. Jim has 2 things tonight. He's got the uniforms, and it's not just Jim. Everyone's talking about the uniforms. And he has Paul Skeens has to face Aaron Judge, or someone is going to have hell to pay.
I don't care.
Dude, I thought you cared.
No.
Yesterday you did.
Did I care yesterday?
Yes. You cared to a great degree.
It was going to ruin the All-Star game for you.
Spent 6 minutes on it.
All right, hold on. Let me muster up my fake outrage again. Hold on. Where's my fake outrage?
No, let's wait because he's batting 4th.
If he doesn't face Aaron Judge, boost Bochy. I love you, Boch. You're my favorite. What are you doing?
Would you keep Skeens out there to start the second just to face one batter?
40 pitches for Skeens until he faces Judge.
Well, yeah. What if he allows someone to reach, but then they pull him with 2 outs in the inning?
He's on like a 10-pitch count.
Yeah, exactly. All right, so the All-Star Game is underway. I mentioned this on the way. What do you have?
Never mind.
I mentioned this on the way out that the Aztecs had a surprise visitor at the Jam this week. Any guesses as to whom?
Kawhi Leonard.
Correct. So he was supposed to be in Abu Dhabi?
He was, yeah.
This week, but was relieved from his Olympic duties, I guess, last week when we were in Las Vegas. Whatever the reason, because there's been 2 sides to that conversation. One was always not fully healthy. He's got to get ready for the season. And then the Clippers, like Brass, has expressed disappointment that he's not on the team. So anyway, he's not on the Olympic team, which means he showed up at the Jam.
Oh, cool.
During San Diego State's men's basketball practice.
He's getting ready for a crucial season for the Clippers opening up in the Intuit Dome.
Yeah. So
have you seen pictures of that place?
It looks amazing. Dude. It's the most expensive arena I think ever built. Not stadium. You have SoFi. But the most expensive arena I think ever built is in Inglewood next to SoFi.
Yeah, that's going to be a really nice place.
And we do understand. I get it. Like, he should be healthy to start the year. There is no Paul George. You need Kawhi to lean on, I think.
Kawhi is the guy that you have marketed everything around. He is your franchise. You chose him over Paul George. You chose James Harden over Paul George, frankly. But yeah, I think that, by the way,
one away. We might not see Aaron Judge.
Here's
one away.
Here's what I'm thinking. Did anybody say, man, I can't wait to see Paul Skeens versus Stephen Kwan?
You're going to have Aaron Judge lead off just because nobody wants to see Stephen Kwan?
Yes.
I mean, I understand it. I get it.
Suck it, Cleveland.
No, I get it.
I mean, come on, really? Hey, we have to see.
You want Kwan?
We need to see Paul Skeens versus Kwan.
Kwan's like a 400 hitter.
Great. You could. No offense to Stephen Kwan, and he might torch the Padres this upcoming weekend in Cleveland. But I'm sorry. Really?
I like how you went about that. You're like, I have nothing to say. I mean, other than we don't need to see him.
We don't need to see it right away. You need to see Aaron Judge.
Let me just make this
versus
point.
Paul Skeens.
Let me make this point.
And Juan Soto versus Paul Skeens.
Let me tell you something.
What?
Let's say at the end of the night, when we see the ratings tomorrow, they're like, just throw out a number. 8 million people watch the Major League Baseball All-Star game. There will be no difference if Judge faces Skeens this inning or doesn't. The number's the same.
But here's what you are forgetting, John. The time that we are in is the social media era. And for baseball, what works for them on social media? Paul Skeens versus Aaron Judge, not Paul Skeens versus Stephen Kwan.
Okay, if Skeens faces Judge in the first, and by the way, there's 2 outs, nobody on, so there's a very low chance of it
Soto
occurring.
said, he's like, I'll make sure Aaron Judge gets to face Paul Skeens.
So he's going to get hit.
Or get on base.
Is he batting third?
He's batting third.
So stay tuned. Dude, let's say it happens on social media. Skeens faces Judge, and let's say he grounds out to second.
Okay.
Or let's say anything happens.
It's a home run.
Strikeout or home run.
Then guess what? It's all over social media, everywhere.
And you think that's changed anything for Major League Baseball?
Nice swing, Soto.
Do you think that's changed anything? If Skeens strikes out Judge, or if Judge takes Skeens deep, what impact does that have on Major League Baseball?
The moment in the World Baseball Classic between Ohtani and Trout
was a very big moment.
Correct. Now, again, stakes were obviously way higher because it was
the tournament was on the line.
The win, championship.
The win.
But come on, man. Everybody wants to see that.
I'm all for seeing it. But I don't have to see it.
2-1.
It's 2-1 on Soto. We might get a shit. Yeah. He loves walking, dude. We've already got our first Livy Dunn shot. If he had the over half.
Let's go. There we go. Standing ovation for Livy Dunn, everybody.
So you say, hey, why are they wearing these uniforms? Livy Dunn's wearing the new uniform.
Should probably
sell. She looks a lot better in it than they do.
Yeah. I choose Livy Dunn wearing that over the All-Stars wearing this. We're having a 2-2 count here, John. This is not looking great.
Do live play-by-play of the Major League Baseball All-Star.
You want me to do that? I'll do that right now.
iHeart would love that. I'm sure they would.
Yeah.
All right, so you're saying Soto's got to reach for Aaron Judge to face Skeens because that's a much bigger deal than Juan Soto, of course. And he fouled off a 100-mile-per-hour pitch.
This is riveting television right now.
So, I mean, seriously, I'm being dead serious.
Okay.
Because you said actually a moment ago you don't care. This to you is Trout Ohtani, Skeens Judge?
I mean,
the dude was drafted like a week ago.
It's not, but it's also, I think, something baseball wants. Ooh, nice take, Juan. There we go. 3-2, full count.
Everything you were hoping for. Do you think Skeens is in on the take here and just throws him a ball?
No, he's throwing him a fastball right in the middle. Guarantee it. There's no
You're going to guarantee a fastball right down the middle?
Fastball right in the middle.
I'll say you're wrong. And you were wrong. He walked him.
Everybody gets their wish.
Soto guaranteed it.
I don't have to complain and have a fake outrage.
That's a horrible call. That's
so fake. All right. So now that we've seen that, and again, I recognize this probably isn't brilliant radio.
No.
You're going to get Aaron Judge against Paul Skeens in the Major League Baseball All-Star game.
That's what baseball wanted, and they almost blew it,
but they didn't in the end.
There we go. Now I'm content.
Okay, so
now I'm fake
your
happy.
Desired result here for Major League Baseball is a Judge home run.
Yeah.
Well, you got to ground out.
Okay.
As I said, this is so viral. That 5-4 force to end the inning.
All that for one pitch.
They've shown Livy Dunn more times than they've shown to Aaron Judge, 2 times as opposed to 1.
Aaron, take a pitch, bro. What are we doing?
You spent 24 hours on this thing. He swung at the first pitch and hit a 1-hopper to third.
It was like 3 seconds.
Gosh.
Oh my God.
You said this was going to be baseball's defining moment of the decade.
Mwah, mwah, mwah.
Oh my gosh.
Livy Dunn had more time on the TV than Aaron Judge versus
did.
Paul Skeens.
You're exactly right. She absolutely did. People couldn't even tweet about it. Jeff Passan tweeted about it. It's over. Paul Skeens versus Aaron Judge is happening right now. Actually, it's not. Or not. So, all right. 1 inning in the books in Arlington, no score. Was that worth the $232 ticket that we talked about earlier? That was the price to get in tonight. That was the price to get in, $232 to see that. Well, you saw it. That's it, right? That's all we're going to see at Paul Skeens tonight.
Yeah, I just want to see Jurickson Profar and Jackson Merrill. And
you're good. I can shut the game off now, right?
No, I want to see. We want to see. There's local interest. Yeah, I know you're kidding. I mean, we want to see Profar and we want to see Merrill. And I'd like to see, honestly, I'd like to see Suarez close the game. Right, finish off a win for the National League.
Well, I mean, look, you can't have runners at second and third and 2 outs and not get those guys in. I mean, what are we doing?
No, but they did. You're exactly right. All right, so Jeff Passan has replied to his tweet, and it's over after 1 pitch and a weak round out to third. All right, there it was. That's my thing with baseball matchups. Like, people hype them up as if it, like, 1 at bat.
That's what baseball is, John.
1 at bat.
I mean, the baseball is at bats, yes.
Yeah, but it's not all-star game 1 at bat sequences like they matter.
But that's what baseball has. So
they have at bats.
They have pitchers versus batters.
Yeah, but wouldn't you prefer to see it like in a game?
But this is a game.
This is an all-star game.
So
he could hit a double.
He's throwing
what?
He's throwing 100.
Aaron Judge should have batted from the left side.
But I'm saying, if you get a double in an all-star game against Paul Skeens, you think that's like a top 10 career moment for Aaron Judge?
No, John, but for baseball fans is what you want to see.
Is it a top moment for? Maybe it is. Maybe it is. All right. Anyway, it didn't happen. There was a ground out. Here's what we're going to do. We'll keep you updated on the Major League Baseball All-Star game. Here's what I want to do right now, Brent. We didn't even tease it, but I'm going to do it because I mentioned it earlier. Let's give away these Niall Horn tickets, North Island Credit Union Amphitheater. Really cool giveaway. 2 free tickets. See Niall Horn, formerly of One Direction, North Island Credit Union Amphitheater. This is July 30th in 2 weeks. Ticketmaster.com for tickets and info. If you want these tickets, caller 5, they are yours. 877-767-4760. Caller 5, 2 free tickets. See Niall Horn at the North Island Credit Union Amphitheater, formerly of One Direction. Call right now. Caller 5, they're yours. 877-767-4760. Call right now for those tickets. Jim's back page plus an update from Arlington coming up next on Jon and Jim. All right, an update from Arlington where the Major League Baseball All-Star game is underway, plus Jim's back page next. All right, hit us up on the Talkback mic. Just open the free iHeartRadio app. Listen to Stand 760. Tap that little microphone icon next to the play button to leave a 30-second talkback. We have a programming announcement. I don't even know if Brent's aware of this. John, he's aware.
He's aware.
Jon and Jim broadcasting live from Thursday's College Football 25 launch event at Novo Brazil Brewing. Join us. We're broadcasting from 3 to 6. Now, the event's from 4 to 7:30 right here in Mission Valley. You can win prizes, play San Diego State football players in College Football 25, chance to play Sean Lewis in this game. You can win the game.
Yeah.
That's a prize. There are giveaways as well from JLab Audio. This is at Novo Brazil Brewing. We've been there multiple times. A great spot.
I haven't been to the new Mission Valley one.
What?
No, I haven't been.
You need to get out, man. You're going to love this place.
I've been to the Chula Vista one, and I've been to the Imperial Beach one, but I have not been to the
didn't realize that.
The new Novo Brazil in Mission Valley yet, because it just recently opened up a couple months ago, correct?
Yeah. It's
so
been a few months.
So I haven't been there. And it was where the old was it where the old Buffalo Wild Wings was? Or no?
I don't know it's not Buffalo Wild.
No.
Was it Tilted Kilt?
Tilted Kilt, yeah.
Yes.
That was where it is, but
It's amazing. Indoor, outdoor, massive TV screens. They have great food and drink.
Oh, amazing food.
We're there Thursday from 3 to 6. We'll have special guests, chance to win the brand new EA Sports College Football video game.
Yeah.
So swing by is my point. Actually, you can RSVP right now. It's a free event. Go to goaztecs.com/EA Sports. Again, goaztecs.com/EA Sports. Looking forward to that. We've had a ton of remotes recently in Vegas, obviously downtown, Naughty Barrel this upcoming Thursday, Novo Brazil, Mission Valley. Hope to see Aztec fans, San Diego sports fans, fans of Jon and Jim out there on Thursday, again, from 4 to 7:30 for that launch event with San Diego State football. All right, there is no score in the All-Star game. They're currently talking to the 3 Phillies on the field, Alec Boehm and Bryce Harper, Trey Turner. Oh, Profar, by the way, hasn't batted yet, but he has been introduced, obviously. This is what it sounded like when Jurickson Profar was introduced. Then we'll get to Backpage.
And batting 9, playing left field from the San Diego Padres, Jurickson Profar.
Wow.
Like a club. Jinx.
All right, let's get to this.
Krispy Kreme has unveiled new Paris-themed donuts ahead of the 2024 Olympics, Jon. You know why?
They got frog legs on them.
Well, because the Olympics are in Paris.
Correct. The 3 donuts that they have released that are available now nationwide in stores and online are the creme brulee donut. It's an unglazed shelled donut filled with creme brulee filling, dipped in creme brulee caramel icing and topped with caramelized sugar crunch.
Sounds good.
The double chocolate eclair donut. It's an unglazed shelled donut filled with chocolate custard filling, dipped in chocolate icing and topped with chocolate crisp pearls. And finally, the raspberry and vanilla creme donut is an original glazed donut dipped in raspberry icing and cookie pieces and dolloped with vanilla cream. Customers can try all 3 new flavors if they purchase the chain's new Passport to Paris collection, available in store and online.
Sounds good is what I would say. Good timing with the Olympics coming up.
Yeah.
It's almost like they marketed that.
You think?
So they planned on that. I think it's a good idea.
Awful Announcing came out today with their 2024 local MLB broadcaster rankings. Did you see this?
Yeah, Padres are towards the top.
So the worst in all of baseball is the Chicago White Sox. Not good. The best in all of baseball, Jon, is, hold on here, pause, the New York Mets.
Number 1, Gary Cohen.
Gary Cohen, Ron Darling, Keith Hernandez. Second.
Yeah, who's second?
San Francisco Giants.
Okay.
With Dave Fleming, Dwayne Kuiper, Mike Krukow, obviously John Miller. That's kind of like you can't go wrong there. But coming in at number 3,
Don Orsillo, Don and Mud,
was the Padres with Don and Mud.
So they've been, I want to say, third 3 straight years because Orsillo tweeted about this. I think they've been third 2 or 3 straight years, which is pretty darn good.
Where's
Yeah.
Zucker?
Out of 30 teams. Well, this is
Um,
TV, right?
TV.
Is he doing TV?
No, he doesn't do TV.
Yes.
Yeah, this is a TV. Guess who comes in number 4?
Guess who comes in at number 4? I have no idea.
Well, here's the thing. It could have been a big guest alert yesterday.
Baltimore
but-
Orioles Kevin Brown.
But you decided to go to
I went
Orange
to Orange
Theory,
Theory, yeah.
instead of having the number 4 ranked Major League Baseball television broadcaster on our station.
Where's Jason Benetti?
Good question, John.
Tigers? It's got to be top 7.
Brewers are 8th, Cubs are 9th, Tigers are 10th.
All right, top 10 is first year. That's not bad.
Yeah.
Kevin Brown 4th?
Yeah, you could
Those
have
guys used to work together. You got number 4 and number 10. They worked in the minors together. Look at me working with you.
could have had him on the show, but you decided, just I'm gonna go.
Oh,
to
yeah. I
Orange Theory
decided to
instead.
work on my health so I didn't die.
But the show is also
More important than my health.
And finally, so an early release of College Football 25 came out yesterday.
Mhm.
The official release comes out on Friday. We're having the event at Novo on Thursday. But with the early release, John, yesterday, over 700,000 players were online at one time playing the game.
That's crazy.
And that doesn't even count the players that weren't playing it online. So you essentially are looking at around 1 million people yesterday
1 million people bought this early.
and played it at like the exact same time. And for the amount the game cost, which is I think $100 with the early release edition
Mhm.
there, yesterday alone, the EA Sports College Football Game 25 made $1 million.
No, that's not
Or
right.
sorry. $100 million. My bad. I'm sorry. $100 million.
I'm laughing like it's like the Padres
I can't do math.
with their 40,000 tickets, they made $40,000
No.
at their game. They did? That's terrible.
They made $100 million
Wait.
on the game.
Wait, so 1 million people playing at $100 a pop is 100 million.
That's what I just said.
But that's not even right because no, that might be right. But here's my question.
Okay.
Where does this rank compared to other video games?
I don't know, but I
need details on that.
But I can, without looking, I can definitively say when like the early Madden releases come out.
What's that?
And,
Yeah.
And any other sports game that comes out, I don't know about like Call of Duty and stuff like
Mhm.
that. But for sports games, there's no chance. I think you would agree, Brent. There's no chance an early release of
700,000?
Madden is getting 1 million people
Really?
at one time, or even 700,000 online at one time. No chance.
No, because it's released every year.
Mhm.
You have to
So
you have to realize a lot of people are going to be in the boat to where, like you guys, you might not have played a video game in 10 years, but you're like, oh, I'm in on this because they're finally making the game.
Hey, Jurickson
oh,
Profar.
Jurickson Profar. Hey, I'm batting. By the way, most best-selling video games all time. Profar, by the way, just ripped a ball foul.
Nope, that's a double, bro. That's a double. Great, good job. Oh, that's a single.
First of all, it was
he
a
went
single.
back.
Hey, nice camera work, buddy.
Yeah, it was terrible. Okay,
Jeez.
we'll take it a single.
Way to ruin that moment.
I told you over 1.5 hits plus RBIs plus runs. Oh, Soto fielding it. Wow.
They ruined the moment by probably talking to the players.
I
right?
know.
Yeah.
By the way, the best-selling video game ever, I'm just at Wikipedia, Minecraft, 300 million copies.
That's a lot.
Best-selling sports video game ever? Because I'm at Wikipedia again. You'd have to go way down. I can't even find it. You got all these Grand Theft Autos, Call of Duty. I don't even see it in like the top 30. This is going to be up there, to everyone's point.
It's like a right now, something that you're probably not going to see for a long, long time for a sports game. Now that EA Sports College Football 25 has come out, every year you'll get a new edition of the game. And as of right now, the reviews for it are through the roof. There's not many negatives on it. Everything about it has been pretty positive.
Join us in Novo, Brazil, Mission Valley Thursday. Your chance to win a copy of EA Sports College Football 25 right here on Jon Jim. Join us from Novo, Brazil, Mission Valley. We're broadcasting live from 3 to 6. And again, you can register free event. Go Aztecs.com/EA Sports. Go Aztecs.com/EA Sports. Back tomorrow at 3 for Brett and Jim. I'm John. Keep it here. It's San Diego Sports 760.
Okay, bye.